Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, hello and welcome to VLS Valorant. My name is Warren Jugglegod Hammond, and I am joined on the desk today by Demented Loki. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing fairly well so far. Kind of excited to get into these games. We have interesting map pools coming together for first two maps. Very down and dirty being our split, and actually they decided to go with Ascent, but for the tiebreaker, Haven.
Uh,
And I'm not sure how you feel about these maps, but that's a bit of a paradigm shift.
it's classic, right? It's classic maps all the way. I mean, it's hard to get more classic than Ascent. First off, Split, it's been around for a while, as has Haven. So I think this harkens back to like the earlier days when I started playing Valorant. I started playing right around when Haven was released, so it's nice. I like it. It's a bit of a throwback. I will miss getting to see the Mound meta right on Lotus. But we've got some great games coming up for you, and it's gonna be Diplomax and Deep Below going up against each other today. Now, I haven't been here in the Victoria scene for a little while now, right? It's been a minute since I've been casting, since well back in the fall, so I'm not super familiar with these teams moving forward. So a lot of what I'm going to be seeing today is going to be brand new to me in terms of these players, their agents, the teams, their compositions, things like that. So I'm just excited to experience it all tonight.
Yeah, I'm also a bit of a returner from way back in the day. Got the old man shaking his fist at a cloud, but consulting the archives, I'm seeing Franklin as the only bomb buddy you'll ever need, getting a total of, right now, I believe it's 14 plants. And across how few games we've had, that's absolutely insane. I wish I had him in my games. But we also have Vitally running these scoreboards right alongside them. So if we go over deep below, they have a fairly strong team coming together. Hunter being a really strong initiator so far. He's been getting some reps in on Gecko. I'm curious
That's
if we're going to be
exciting to
seeing
hear.
that come out. Yeah, mostly on
Yeah.
split too.
Oh, that's extra exciting. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
believe is that the first place we are headed today? I think it
That is our
is.
first map
Yeah,
today.
I think it's our first map. Ascent is going to be second. Yeah, so we get some Gecko, hopefully right out the gates. That'd be fantastic. I've been really enjoying watching, seeing how this agent is developing, within the ecosystem of Valorant. And in addition, actually, I want to go ahead and talk about Harbor too. Honestly, I've enjoyed the little bit that we've got to see of him recently. Seen him a lot on Lotus, um, and Pearl even to an extent. So would love to see that agent, even though he's not the newest anymore, but still an exciting one to watch.
Yeah, no, Harbor is a really fun character to watch, especially on those retakes. You hit them with the alcove tech and get those few shots in just before they can react. And you're all safe and sound in your bubble. You're having a nice little
Yeah,
snuggle off
exactly.
to the side. But if we get these double initiator comps, this Sky on crit offer alongside Hunter's Gecko on split, we can just throw the entire menagerie at them.
Yes, we can. Right? There'll be a three-ring circus in there.
I
So
suppose you'll feel right at home, huh?
I will actually. I will. This name down here. It's not fake or anything. I am a former world champion juggler, so this was my professional career for about 20 years. So yeah, no, that is fair. I got a lot of friends in the circus,
I
and
suppose
they're
Vitally will
they're
be
as
taking you
weird
back
as you
too.
would expect. They're absolutely as weird as you would expect. Yeah.
I mean, a little bit of fun to be around, though, huh?
Oh yeah, no, tons of fun. They're my people, the carnies, right?
Yeah.
That's where I grew up. Kind of, not really. I grew up in Virginia. There's no carnies there, just
Yeah.
hillbillies and redneck. That's also not true. I'm
It's-
bashing Virginia now, and I feel bad.
Listen, we all have that one state we've been in where it rubs you just a little bit different than the
Yeah,
rest.
18 years growing up there, I was done. I mean, it's a beautiful place, and there are great parts of Virginia, just not where I was from. So, anyway,
Yeah. I think
enough
Vitally
about
is going
that.
to be fun. But
What's that?
let's look at Vitally. Absolute headhunter. Very comfortable on Jet so far, but I'm seeing them splash a little bit of KO, a little bit of Viper. It's
Mhm.
about a 50-50 split between Jet and Viper on split from what I've seen here so far in just their own matches off to the side. I'm wondering if they're going to be
Right.
seeing a lot of them flexing around. But with
That could be
such
interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, who if there's another controller on the squad, I would imagine they would probably go that way. But Jet also, I mean, neither of those agents are uncommon agents, right? There's a lot of players who I think are probably going to be comfortable on both, especially if you're one of these flex players, right? It's hard to get more value out of either a duelist or a controller than you would get out of Jet or Viper. So honestly, that speaks to me of a flex player, right? Now that I think about it a little bit more, I think I've convinced myself this is a flex player. So we could be seeing a little bit of everything from them as well.
Yeah, you never know how many tricks they're going to be pulling out of these hats as we get moving on. I'm really excited to actually see a couple Rays pickups alongside the other people that they have on these teams. If I get to see, now this is my dream comp for these moments, especially on Split.
Yeah.
I would like to see either a Cypher or KJ. I'm not too picky either way. Both are really usable. But I would like to see a Harbor, a Jet, and then we get that Sky, we get that Gecko, and just have this really aggressive retake comp, and you just play for diffuses all day.
Yeah, honestly, I've been casting a bit of collegiate Valorant over at EGF, and we've been seeing that strategy actually employed a lot over there, right? Just give away the site and play for retake. That honestly seems to be the MO of a lot of teams right now.
Yeah. See, how are the players looking to get underway though? A little bit of banter. Let's not pull that back open. Some interesting comms going on in there. Nothing quite like when you get a bunch of them together. They just rally. Looks like you're popular with these players right now, Juggle. How do you feel
Oh
about
yeah.
that?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love to hear it. I love to be back here. Like, honestly, this is one of my favorite places to cast. I think I've got, like, for every game that I cast, right? I cast Overwatch, Rocket League, and Valorant, right? And for each of those games, I've got kind of like my favorite community tournament and
Mhm.
community place. And this is absolutely it for Valorant. I love this community. And it always breaks my heart. It seems like about like halfway through the season, I've got to jump ship for a little while and go cast other places.
Yeah.
Just because you gotta make the money, right? You gotta make the money. And so this is great because this is kind of getting towards the end of my casting season, right? So I'm hopeful that I'm going to be able to stick around and do a lot more victorious this season because I really do love this community. Y'all are great. You make me feel welcome. The everything behind the scenes. Also love all the people there too. So yeah, one of my favorite places. The love
Yeah.
goes both ways. The love goes both ways.
Yeah, you hear that, viewers at home? Love you.
Yo, I like that heart. I haven't seen that
Yeah.
heart before. Hold on.
It's
I gotta.
pretty much the only way I can
Okay,
get it
so the
good.
middle finger's down. Okay, middle finger's
Yep.
down, and then
Yeah, nice and
that's
easy,
my new
nice and
favorite
easy.
heart.
Because
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is a
yeah,
little bit too bulky, kind of starts to look a little bit like we're going for the
yeah,
Ace of Spades.
yeah.
Um,
There's some other like hand monster creature you can make. I don't know. I need to find that one. Maybe I'll have that
Yellow
ready to
Doggy.
go. That's the one. Can you show me how to do that during a break? I have
Yeah,
wanted to know how to
I
do
got you
this for
covered.
so long.
Listen, as long as you call me Mr. Miyagi, I can teach you all the ways you need. Uh,
All right, well, we are just about ready to load in here. And it is once again gonna be split. And we've got Diplomax going up against Deep Below tonight. So yeah, this is gonna be great. Also, I have not cast a split game, and I don't even remember how long. Even though it is back in rotation, I
Way
legit do
back
not
in the
remember the
day.
last time I cast the split game. Like it might have been the first season I was casting here at Victorious.
Um,
Legitimately.
Actually, I think same.
Like I don't think I did it in the fall, right? Because I think Split
Yeah.
was still out at that point.
Um,
So yeah, I think this is legit like gonna be the first time I've cast this game or this map in a very long time. And to be perfectly frank, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the changes that came in because I know it got a substantial rework. But
um,
because I've seen it so few times, I mean, because I've honestly I played this map so little recently as well, I just don't remember what the changes are.
yeah, so to sum up the changes for the ones that are relevant, okay, because there are a lot of changes, just a lot of them I don't
Right.
see really shifting how we play it. For I believe it's A Site Heaven, they ended up shortening that rafter, so Hell is a much riskier angle. It's no longer that 50-50 elevation, so it's easier for
Mm,
attackers to swing. And honestly, that's the only one that I'm worried about. It changes how we take those initial gunfights quite a bit. And
gotcha.
outside of that, they just were like, hey, maybe these 50-50s aren't the move, which I think it's a solid decision on the developer's part here. But let's talk about the controller slot because I see a lot of different ideas when we go into that on this map in particular, especially. Who do you think is the right fit and why?
Honestly, I think it depends a lot on who else you're running with. Right. The two controllers that come to my mind, at least kind of historically, which is where I'm speaking from when I'm talking about split. Like, let's be clear about this, right? That would have been Viper and Brimstone, right? I think provide a lot of value, and personally, I always felt Brimstone provided a little bit more.
Mhm.
But I think you can kind of get away with either, and I think it kind of depends on who you're running as well. Harbor as well, I think could be a good fit for kind of the same reasons that you would run a Viper, right? Just to get like a real long wall along a site. That's where I feel like either Viper or Harbor is going to kind of have the most impact. The reason I tend to prefer Brimstone on Split is because I feel like the value you can get on Brimstone is pretty equal on both sides. Don't get me wrong, B-side I still think is a good site for Viper or for Harbor. I just think you get more consistent value out of Brimstone than you do either of those picks when it comes to controller. By the way, controller main as well. Like that was my jam. So I'd love to hear your perspective on this though as
So,
well.
for this level of play in particular, I like seeing Omen for those aggressive plays on Split,
Omen.
actually.
Okay.
He has a really strong coverage on that flash to be able to, especially if we do see Gecko continue to support Dizzy getting out to be able to continue to have that value.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like Diplomax does lean a lot harder into Viper right now. Viper or Astra as their main controller picks for this case, which I do agree with Viper being that extremely slow burn. If they want to run this timer and be very explosive at the end, I'm all there for it. But if they're going to be a lot quicker, a lot more explosive, I stand right alongside Omen, and it looks like we're going to be getting right on into this.
All right. Yeah. Let's load into the lobby. Get this game underway. Enough of our just jabbering back and forth about this, the circus, Virginia, who knows what else. Let's get to the get to the game.
Yeah.
Hand origami. I don't even know what you would
Eh,
call it.
Boom. And we fly on away into our agent select. And right away, we're seeing quick hovers. Vantic, though, decides to take the chamber instantly. Very interesting decision on his part. I'm not sure how I feel about it as we're looking to get this Viper. We're getting that Sky with a Harbor, potentially double controller coming out from Diplomax. That's a really interesting decision there. Uh, Mr.
Yeah,
Controller
it
Main,
is
how
very
do you
interesting,
feel?
but it looks like it's potentially going to be mirrored on the other side as well. In fact, it's looking at this point like a complete mirror from both of these squads, which I find to be very interesting. And I also think it's I'm going to be really curious to see how this Harbor Viper setup goes, right? On
Mhm.
the double controller. Because again, in my head, they provide a lot of the same things, right? You look at just like a giant wall, just a giant wall that takes over half the map, right? You know, like that's a big thing that both of these two controllers provide. As well as honestly like protection for defuses or plants.
Mhm.
You know, you've got the Viper's Pit, of course, as well as the Cove for Harbor. So this is interesting. I'm gonna be really excited
Mhm.
to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, I like seeing a harbor in particular on this map because it's just a lot more lines in the sand. You get the cascade to run
Right.
alongside. It's just a lot of vision blocked, and I want to see how they use that util to be very explosive on attack and just let Viper be your stall is what it looks like they're going for, using the raised paint shell and some of these Viper snake bites in order to be able to slow the game down a little bit, try to keep tempo as we get on into it.
I mean,
But
that
this,
is. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, this initiator slot though, I'm a little bit interested in seeing how Sky plays out. In my opinion, if you're going solo initiator, I'm not actually a huge fan of having Sky be it, but I suppose to make up for not having the sustain on these slower burns that you would get if you had a Sage, and just opting for that chamber instead to have a little bit more staying power from down the line might be the move.
Yeah, it certainly could be. I mean, you know, Sky is kind of a little bit of a kind of a jack of all trades initiator. I feel like. you know, you get some of the information gathering that you have out of, say, a Sova, right? And then you get some of the flashes that you get out of another agent.
Blinded.
And speaking of flashes, we already have that information coming out from Baba Yaga. Things might get a little bit dicey, but this slow start is exactly what we were expecting from both teams. Just waiting for someone to poke their little head out just a bit too far.
Aishiku exchanges blows a little bit with Baba Yaga. Guiding Light goes in, does get a flash, but the team isn't able to follow up on it quick enough, so they just gained a little bit of space. See the Cascade coming up as well. More shots being exchanged on point, but right now, at least at the moment,
Spike planted.
Diplomac's looking a little bit better. They do have the spike down now.
Yeah, very
oh,
good
sorry, no, it is
Diplo,
I believe. Diplo, I believe, who is on defense here. Yeah, they're looking a little worse for wear.
A little bit rough as those shots go back and forth vitally, and then Franklin to fall to Bijiku paint shell to be able to try to take motion, but they're going to be grabbing 2 heads to that wall. Callie closes it out. Some beautifully positioned util early into this round, though, if we're going to be looking at Callie's util use. Be able to make sure they have all this space secure as Vitally is just trying but fails to take out Bishiku, who then is able to convert onto Franklin immediately after, leaving it all down to Moshi, who despite their best efforts didn't quite have the clutch bone warmed up in time for that one.
Maybe this time around, right?
Toxins going up.
But it's gonna be a one round lead here for DPLO. So we're getting a bit of a default this time coming out from them. They're putting a lot of pressure on mid, though, so Franklin gonna have their work cut out for them here with a shorty, but of course, hugging a corner like this, that's exactly what you want to have in your hands. Know somebody's there, so gonna have to use the rendezvous to get away, but being chased by the paint shells. In the meantime, Heisai being just held down.
This is a beautiful position for our friend over here, Moshi, with that shorty right up against the wall. And Vantic, he doesn't have a single clue about what's going on as the rest of the team. He's like, hey, come on, come over. We're going to be able to try to take this hit. But I think Moshi is going to be shutting them out in just a moment here, right up against this wall. I'm starting to smell some Gouda cheese as it looks like this poor Harbor Hunter, please, no.
Oh, he has to see the gun. Yeah, Moshi's gonna be good for one trade there. It's gonna be a satchel to get on to a point.
30 seconds
Honestly,
left.
That's all you need on this round, though. Shorty in hand, what else are you gonna do than say, hey, I got mine? Vantic snaking away Franklin. Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big advantage now here for DPLO, Diplomax. Just gotta hope to try and trade a little bit here. They do get one. That is a 2v3. This is certainly doable here, but it's gonna be tough for Diplomax to push in on this. Gotta get a little bit of heals.
It looks like they might just cut their losses and save this Vandal, play those exit frags, and swing this on to the next round. They don't have enough time to take this plant. A very risky buy from Vantic, but in the end, DPLO did get this round, so I think they come out on top. Baba Yaga dying to bomb, get that money to be able to buy this round coming up. Just get full rifles on the whole team and play for a really strong round 3. Very common to just sack round 2 if you can. Really nice that they were able to get a free Vandal out of it and not give up an extra ult orb. As Moshi already having 6 for his ult economy, getting ready to have that Viper's Pit up and be able to just hold off a site. Things might get a little bit explosive.
Yeah, this
Blinded.
definitely be interesting to see. Of course, this is going to be Diplomax's best shot so far, taking a round outside of pistol. Boombot thrown out to get a little bit of information. They know somebody is there, but outside of that, they do not know who. Baba Yaga get a back up onto point, give a little bit of room. So now DPLO gonna be able to take that.
Yeah, Aries in hand, and Moshi over off to this side was able to grab Vantic. That's a huge opening pick. and that's all the control they need on A main to be able to find out, oh wait, none of them are here. And Franklin on the flank!
Wow.
The rat away crit offer. Things are not looking great for DPLO as they're forced to do this execute very fast and lined up by this guiding light. And there we go.
Last
gonna
player
fall. Bobby Yaga
standing.
is able to claim another head to the wall. Callie not able to slot all back. They are good for one though.
Yeah, that's to be expected after that, you know, just with a bye there, the way things have gone so far. And one thing I think is always worth mentioning is that the great teams are the ones who win the rounds they're supposed to win, right? So Diplomax did that right there, which is just great to see.
Yeah, keeping all their members alive. Vitally and Moshi both pushing up to be able to take out Vantic, who's been on this lurk constantly. Looks like he's going to be grouping with the team more this time. And we're talking about how these controllers come into play. This Viper wall, I think, has been on A every single round so far, just as a, in case we go there. It's a very interesting thought process as we're finding some aggressive harbor util in the B main. And Diplomat, they look like they have the whole site as Franklin, again, with another one of these picks. He's just running into the lobby now that he has a rifle in hand so far. Getting some very important picks to start us off.
Might as well call him Flanklin at this point. He has showed up in a huge way so far for Diplomax, giving him an early lead before they even necessarily need to defend from this push or go for a retake, which is just fantastic. It's absolutely what you want to see. And you know, we questioned this chamber picks, but so far at least it's paying off. And I'm not sure if that has to do more so with the agent or just the player behind the agent at this point, because yeah, Flanklin is looking fantastic so far. Here comes the push now onto site. By Shiku, gonna let loose with a boombot, try and take some attention, see if they can sneak up behind Franklin. Instead, they're gonna be able to find Baba Yaga. A crit offer finds one as well, so it's gonna be a 3v3 on point, down to a 3v2. The plant will come in now from DeepMax. Tally goes for a satchel, doesn't recognize that there's somebody literally right next to them.
One enemy remaining.
Retake starts. Ashiku finds another. Just gonna be down to this raise. Tally, what they can do. Peeking in from heaven, they're able to find one. This is now very doable. Just two more ages. If they can isolate each of these duels, they're gonna have a great chance coming out on this. But they made a lot of noise moving down onto site, so they know they're there. They can peek both angles at the same time. They go for it again, but Hunter is right around the corner. They see him, not able to get the shots off in time. So, DeepMax takes another round.
Not until the job is done.
It's a heartbreaking round for them, honestly, on defense. You want to be able to try to hold those off. Looked like Flanklin found his backside exposed, though, partway through that round, unfortunately. But happens to the best of us. As we're getting ready to go into this, the economies aren't looking great on both sides. We can see DPLO start getting a couple rounds strung together. They could be in a really strong spot. We have the Seekers up, we have the Viper's Pit. These rounds are very doable coming up as long as they dodge the showstopper. And again, Flanklin the Turtle, he is walking his way up, waddling along. He gets there eventually and catches the knife in your backside, but Shiku is going to be there to stop him. And that's really unfortunate for them as they're moving on to the rest of this round. They go back and forth, and Vantic is insane!
Yeah, that's going to force a big reposition coming out here from Diplomax. With just two players remaining, they're likely, I think, going to want to give up site and just look for a retake here. Maybe even give away the round and just see if they can get a couple people, a couple of exit frags, right? And just do a little bit of damage.
Spike
because like you mentioned, this this economy for both sides is on thin ice. Both these teams desperately need a round win right here. It'll be Baba Yaga exchanging a little bit of gunfire. But now, yeah, starting to back away, which I think is probably the right choice here, Loki.
Yeah, Leo, though, he's right up in there with a Bulldog, waiting for someone to cross paths with him. And it's really unfortunate to see this round go by. The power duo over there getting taken out by Vantic. That's exactly what DPLO wants, but still does not feel great on the side of Diplomax as they hear some people walking away. If only they knew. As that wall falls, shots back and forth. No one's going down quite yet, and then Callie is the one to fall. And Leo, he's gonna die, but, you know, gets a little bit of money back for it. Gets that orb a little bit closer to being able to pop ult for a retake. And again, we're holding on to these ults. I feel like that's a little bit of a greedy move from both sides because we have some really strong ultimates up on the side of Bishiku with a showstopper to be able to intro around. Kali just got their ult up, so if things are looking a little bit even, can skew it in their favor just to put the pit down on site. Or even Moshi just getting to cut their losses. This is a eco round. And just popping their ult to be able to keep control of some part of this map could be huge, as it looks like Franklin is going to continue to play with no fear on B main. He has the Headhunter in hand, he's just hanging out. As again, we see DPLO playing for this mid control.
Yeah, DPLO is going to be in for a rude awakening, though, because Moshi has used their Viper's Pit to shut off mid completely. So right now they're just spraying through it. I don't anticipate we see them make a push through there. It's just gonna be so difficult for them. But they are amassing. No, they are in fact going to start pushing. They're gonna start pushing in. Dog comes out. It's gonna be neutralized. Ooh, out of the smoke. Just a little. The timing was just unfortunate there. Moshi outside of the smoke now. Takes a little bit of damage from the paint shell. Is going to actually let the full thing expire. And I think this is maybe meant to draw the other team to a different site, right? Because now they're not entirely sure if Viper has abandoned the pit completely, or mid for that matter.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be calling Vitally in a second here about their car's extended loyalty. Baba Yaga has a really good bait. Hopefully they don't shoot in the corner as they almost fall already. Walking past, no one clearing the corner. Vitally with two, shutting out a showstopper. You'd love to see that from Diplomat. Hunter's going to be using the alcove to be able to get a secure plant and say,
Spike
please,
planted.
please, Vantic, get over here. I need you now more than ever.
Last player standing.
Oh, it's just going to be
enemy
down to
remaining.
Moshi, who's been a big part of Diplo Max's success here.
Going up.
It's going to be a beautiful screen. Allow them to perhaps get halfway through. No, they just bait it. They're going to try and peek through the smoke. See if they can find Vantic. But Vantic just has to play the waiting game here, right? We're going to see them push in once again.
Toxins going up.
Baiting it out. Vantic's playing this perfectly. Vantic doesn't have to do anything. The impetus here is on Moshi. Moshi has to make the move, has to play for the spike. They get one half of it done, but Vantic knows they're in a more powerful position. Takes them out and secures the round for Deep Max. Deep below. I keep saying Deep Max.
Yeah.
It's deep below. I'm not confused. It's Diplo below. Diplo. Yeah. Deep. Diplo Max. Deep below. I'll get it right soon. I promise.
Let's talk about this teamwork for a minute, though, around that toxic screen. Full Flash Vitally is able to just hang out, knowing that they're going to be watching Baba Yaga, they're going to be watching Sight, and was able to secure two really huge frags that could have swung around completely their way until that...
You want to play? Let's
Moshi
play.
was a little bit heavy on baiting it, wanting to be able to make it so we'd see Vantic commit, but he was a little bit hesitant to it, as we're seeing a shot come out from the Tour de Force to make up for the economy. And wait, he actually, I think that's a hit through the wall from Hunter. Sorry, onto Hunter. A little bit of health economy in their favor as they're going to make this execute on B.
Here comes the hit. Cascade is up. High Tide thrown in as well. There comes the Cove, too, to cover the plant.
Spike planted.
Ults in the hands of Diplomatic. You love to see this as the Seekers are coming out. We talked about this before, just giving away the site, play that retake, cut your losses for a moment, just keep everyone together. And here's another showstopper coming in, and it looks like it's going to be a clean retake as we get the spray down through the wall. And
Wow.
Spraying through. Hunter able to grab one for the but there's the DPLO.
Last player standing.
Pull down the rifles. Cali is the last one standing for them on this game. And Leo, let you go. He's gonna reel you right on in.
You know, and honestly, Diplomax needed that. They needed that in a big way because they had lost so many rounds running up to this that their economy was in shambles, right? And they know they've got a tough road ahead of them because Deep Below is going to be able to kind of weather this storm.
We have plenty of money to throw at their problems. 2-5. This is an attacker-sided map usually, if I remember correctly. So
yeah,
we do have a bit more rounds that they want to throw in together. Diplomax by no means is out of it. We're seeing some very good teamwork. We're seeing really strong crossfires and just general awareness going into these clutch rounds. And I think that's going to pay off as we continue to see time and time again these same things from DPLO. Try to get this mid control, try to explosively take a site when we have the moment. Same bomb buddy, same problem as we get walking through it. And the controller use of, just in general, I feel like Leo has piloted Harbor very well as we into the thick of this round. Gashuki, he's just walking up. He's good for one there every time.
Yeah, the trade is so important. Right? If you find yourself face to face with an opponent, you at least want to make sure that if you die, you're taking somebody with you.
Right there.
Be another high tide thrown out. Actually, is that the Cascade? Tough to tell from here. Yeah, it is the it is the Cascade. At the moment,
30 seconds
being
left.
made by DMax, but that's just gonna allow Diplomax to take a little bit more of an advantage. Hunter does get one. Up onto A side heaven. Goes out another, evening the score at 2-2.
One enemy remaining.
Guiding Light finds one. But Baba Yaga on point, able to shut that down. Hunter, the last player remaining. All Baba Yaga had to do was hold the corner and pull the trigger.
He just kept swimming through high tide. No problems here. And you hate to see it on the side of DPLOs. We're going to be getting into a timeout. Everyone gather around the campfire, sing our little song, try to figure out how we're going to crack this Diplomax defense. As we're seeing time and time again, they're losing their ones. The wiggle peek from Vitali to be able to grab out Callie. Hunter in a very strong position. I believe they hurt him on ropes. Actually, towards the end of that round, he got a little bit overzealous coming out. He's able to come out swinging, get a couple frags, and get taken out. But when you are down to those 2vx situations, you need to be able to be a little more sneaky beaky like and save your health to be able to make those later plays. Because before that rope, Vitali was still just watching down range on A main. None the wiser to the man behind him because of the cascade thrown by Leal earlier on to just stave off, be able to slow people down, and give some time to breathe over on that A site. And so far, we're just seeing the difference in communication and team play coming out on these controller slots pretty largely so far.
It is good to see Diplomax coming back in this. So it seems as though they're kind of starting to understand and appreciate the style that's being thrown at them by DPLO. So now Diplomax kind of in the first position ahead in the economy ever since that third round that we saw. It's going to be a big old sniper rifle on A that nobody wants to deal with. So DPLO starting to push mid, as has been their habit. Waiting for that high tide to dissipate. That's gone.
Yeah.
Starting to get a little bit of an approach here towards mid.
Yeah, this buddy system, though, looking to aggressively take away some of the players off of this board because they know they have gun advantage. It's a really interesting play to go with, as Cops are going to go back and forth in heaven. Okay, we know where some of you are. Where's the rest of you? Come on, I know you're not going to leave Callie all alone, is what Diplomax is saying, as there's shots fired down mid. And that high tide to come up to be able to slow things down and say, hey, don't give away our guns. Please just hang out for a moment. And that little head gets spotted.
Spike down
oh
mid.
No, Hunter! Bomb is dropped now right into the clutches of Diplomax. That's good to be able to continue to just hold our space. Speaking of the big bad rifle no one wants,
30 seconds
Franklin.
left.
Ooh, it's now that 2vx situation again. With Vantic having just a headhunter and a dream, trying to grab another rifle, be able to make things happen, as we're going to see an explosive play in a moment here mid.
Guiding play, briefly blind Vantic, they turn the corner. Everybody from Diplomax waiting for him, and that'll be another round for them, taking this gap, which was standing at 4, down to just 1.
Yeah, watching Diplomax just slowly claw this back in those rounds is really interesting to see because usually once you start getting rolled on split, you kind of just have to kick over and accept that, okay, maybe we're good for 3-4 rounds and we'll run it. But as we're seeing from these 4 rounds they've taken, once they get on there, they just continue to scratch and claw and gnash away every member of DPLO with almost no problem, because it looks like they're going to be swapping up strategies, looking for more of a B main to take, having Cali continue to lurk with their wall, try to make noise, and just play these rounds a little bit slower, which is very interesting to see as we have the buddy system, all eyes on B main, as the guiding light is able to spot some out, so we can start seeing Diplomax rotate over the paint shells to be able to stall, but Harbor all coming out.
That's going to be a lot of stuns that DPLO is going to have to work through. Hunter is still able to get the plant as they are able to sustain through that, and in fact come away with the going to peek on the high ground, but Cali a little bit quicker on the trigger finds them. So that was a 3v1, gotten even more difficult for Moshi here. DPLO just about ready to secure. Oh, they don't know they're right behind them. I didn't check their corner. So, big thing for DPLO here is they have secured at least a tied first half, as we've only got 2 rounds remaining.
Yeah, I think the only option we can have there to be able to see that round secured for Diplomax there is attach a couple mirrors to Moshi's rifle there, have the buddy, you know, spot out around the corner behind him so we can get a hospital flick on it. Just a very unfortunate situation to be in, those 1v2s, 1v3s, trying to claw back that little bit of space. B-site is really good for those sneaky crossfires. They really creep up on you, as it looks like we're going to be seeing a similar take all over again. And finally, already in this round with a pick under Bashiko.
That's huge, because Bashiko has been a big part of kind of clearing the back of B-site, allowing them to kind of push in a little more aggressively with a little more certainty. But now being 1 player down, yeah, the landscape has changed significantly for them. They're not going to have that that same entry frag potential and power without their raise.
And the bomb buddy, despite not really going down mid, still was able to get information for Diplomax. Okay, you're mid again, great. As this poison orb is going to go up to try to slow things down a bit alongside the Trailblazer. Looks like we're going to be pushing the paint shells. Cali's able to get 2?
Wow, Cali with a couple of big clicks. That's going to trap them to go ahead and use the Viper Spit on the high ground, pretty much shut down that approach from B, but it's going to leave B main pretty open, and in fact, it provides a little bit of cover for everybody who is pushing out B main as that Viper Spit is taking over a little bit of heaven, but Moshi now caught in a real rough position, right? They've got their Viper Spit. The only place they're safe, or rather, I guess it was the, sorry, that was DPLO's Viper Pit from Cali.
Can we talk about that timing for a moment? Moshi just creeping their way through.
Right?
Just screaming, yes, I will get in your way. This is my space, Cali. And Cali just quietly backs up like, okay, sir, it's yours. As we're getting into the thick of it, once again, 1v3, there can be some sneaky crossfires as the trademark is able to spot all the way up there. Things are looking rough, and I think they're going to have to just save this gun and bring it to a 4-7 in the favor of DPLO.
Yeah, I think so. Moshi's not even necessarily going to look for exit picks right there. So, big round for DPLO that does secure them a positive first half. And like you said, this is an attacker-sided map historically, so this is what you need to see if you want to come away with a map win here on Split.
Yeah, but this economy is not what you want to see on the last round of that half. We're seeing Bulldogs and Phantoms with light shields. Oh my. Things are going to be a little bit dicey this round. Even a stinger coming out from Leo. Oh, man, right out for my heart. As it looks like we're going to have a very aggressive A play. I hear the flash pack. It's going to be huge.
Oh, here it comes right at Leo. Bishuki gonna be even traded out though, and in fact an advantage given here to the attackers. Become the Seekers now as well. To add insult to injury, Moshi trying to slow things down as much as they can because they have been spotted out, so that snake bite gonna provide a little bit of reprieve for them.
Shots go back and forth. There's just too many. Moshi, one-man arms, not quite enough as Franklin is able to get Hunter but that's half going in favor of DPLO. See if things change
Switching
up with
sides.
Diplomax on attack, though. Some very aggressive players so far. I think they have a really strong shot at this, as we're going to see this timer ticking on down. Ghost in the hand of Vitally. Instead of going for those blast packs and a little bit of armor to just throw themselves at the problem. Kind of an interesting thought so far. Might be going back on that in a moment. And Moshi getting those shields, getting the stalling power for post plant with some really strong utility. So far, very standard. But Baba Yaga is very, very confident having that Ghost in hand. This could be a really fun round to watch. As again, we're seeing this confidence mirrored on the side of our defenders here. Having the Ghost in hand of Bishiku, just going for those head taps. We have an explosive A first round all the way up ramp.
Yeah, this is gonna overwhelm Cali, right? Even if Cali is able to get a pick, probably gonna be traded out. It's gonna be crit offer though, taking out Baba Yaga, so the attack looking a little worse for wear at the moment. They do get one attack in their favor, so there's a 4v4.
Spike
Cali
down.
takes out
A.
though the
One
spike
enemy
carrier.
remaining.
Everybody else following finds another spike carrier, and that not Cali with 9 HP doing a lot of work here for Deep Below.
Yeah, one by one, and Diplomax just all falls down, peeking Cali. You wouldn't expect him to drag them straight down with him into that position of hell. As Leo, not Leo, Hunter, to crack Franklin right at the end. He was just a little bit too slow on the take, I'm afraid, as that toxic screen went up. That was absolutely insane. We were talking about one-man armies earlier, and I think we just found ours. Cali, cool as a cucumber, under the pressure of Diplomax trying to press them in on that corner. And looks like they're veering up for another A take potentially. Just throwing away this round potentially, or they get a couple guns and get running. Either way, I'm excited. I think with this wall, they're going to be going ramps again, though.
I like this move, right? It's one of my favorite strategies. When you're down, you don't have the econ. Just try and overwhelm as many of the opposition as you can with numbers. They're going to do that immediately with crit offer, able to take out one and secure a lot of sight with these walls from Harbor, using both the high tide and the cascade to make sure that they are in a safe position. Dog being thrown out as well.
For a minute, the map just looked like I just started scribbling on it as the paint just comes out. Poor Franklin caught in a corner. As again, we're looking to overwhelm Cali. 3 people on them all at once seems a bit familiar, as it's
Last player
on top of
standing.
the health advantage. And now here's the defuse happening. Leo in a good position to try to intercept it, but Cali just waiting right behind that corner to stop him. Oh, things are not looking good for Diplomax. It's 4-10. We're gonna be up on money for the attackers. Sorry, up on money for the defenders going into this bonus. And here we have it, another timeout coming out for the attack. Like, okay, guys, this is our gun round. We need to pull it back. We were able to do a couple really strong rounds last time we got rifles, but I'm going to need to see all of you start popping out. Vitally, throw yourself at the problem. We know you're good for it with the raw aim. They won't be able to see you as long as Baba Yaga just takes their eyes for a moment. You know, we just got to borrow him for a second.
Out of context, that sounds so creepy. Right?
The Aya Newt to be able to brew those potions, man, it's pretty important. You know, we're a little strapped for resources. You got to pluck them from the agents once in a while.
Yeah, you know, exactly. It's
They'll
really
respawn in the
borrowing
nearest
them.
round.
You return them.
Yeah.
It might be green when you get them back, but you know, they're still there.
Yeah, a
Beggars
little bit
can't
of
be
a tattoo.
choosers, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get that tattoo on deck. I promise it's safe. You're only blind for a couple seconds.
Well, Diplomax definitely in an unenviable position, right? I mean, they were coming down 2 rounds down with an 8-4 half, and desperately needed those first 2 to kind of secure themselves I think a path forward, right, in the rest of this game. And right now they do have the gun advantage, but it's only going to last for 1 round, right? So I'm anticipating we see a 5-10 after this, and unless something changes up, I think this is going to be Deep Below running away with it pretty handily.
Yeah, I mean, Vantic, again, playing super aggressively with his Headhunter. Whenever he's been just left on it, we've seen him be good for at least 1 a lot of these times. And it looks like Moshi's going to be picking up a frag of their own as might force a rendezvous. Things are scary, and finally,
Bloody them.
Finally with a nice headshot there. That is going to give an advantage to the attackers. Diplomax pushing in now, but with reckless abandon, Hunter is able to gun them down.
Last player
Wall as well.
standing.
They're going to throw the Cove down too, but it's not going to be in time to save them from the onslaught that is Diplomax.
Spike
Will be
planted.
planted, and it's just going to be crit offer in heaven trying to hold things down, or rather retake things here or deep below. Looking for one trade, does not find it. Crit offer has the better gun, the better shot.
Yeah. No, that round was not in the cards for Deep Below. I don't think any of them were ready to see Vantic fall in the middle of snapping his fingers. You never want that to happen when you're playing Chamber, and despite them being on an eco round, it looks like they still didn't have the money to have full shields as Vantic. He's going to be the long arm of the law, getting this operator in hand, starting to come online with these very aggressive angles on a main. Things might start heating up in a second here as Util goes back and forth trying to spot people out. And I'm not sure how I feel about this angle from Vantic. Considering we have double controller, it's very easy to keep that angle from seeing anything. But it might prove strong for them as we go into another round, since we saw it. Diplomax likes to push A main all the way through ramp and just take that heaven control. But slow burn on this round. Get the Trailblazer out, start spraying through a couple smokes, make some noise to see if anyone's going to be taking the bay as, yeah, Guiding Light going to be spotting people back and forth. And things are heating up. Vitally being able to get this opening frag in a round and start going crazy over on this B side.
Yeah, with one pick in their advantage, which is going to be maintained. That's going to be a trade at one point. Once again, paint shells being used to zone. Crit offer finds one as the
Last
hunter.
player
And
standing.
things are back to a 2v2 situation. Gets another, as it is just going to be Leal, and I like that Cove, using it to kind of fake where the plant might be. Keep everybody's attention somewhere else. And now we're seeing Leal move into a post-plant position, but this is actually a very dicey one right here. The high ground's going to kind of have the advantage on that peak. So they're going to push themselves behind this box. Both players actually approaching from heaven as well. It's going to be Hunter who drops first. Leal's, here's the gunshots, is where there's another player right behind them. Going to try and take this one by one. They're going to be able
One
to sneak up
enemy
on them
remaining.
while their back is turned. They get one. Defuse still going. They are off it at the moment. Leal looking for an opportunity. Goes back to fake the defuse. Oh, they just had to stay alive. Not going to be enough time. And Deep Below puts themselves at 11.
Yeah, Leo with the right
If you're not
idea,
doing
just
well,
caught with
keep
the knife
trying.
out for a
You
moment
must keep
there.
up appearances.
But look at that timing. Hunter and Vantic both just going at it, just running straight on like, oh no. And Leo just creeping his way up. You know, we got that Pink Panther theme song in the back of our head, just hanging out, able to grab the first frag onto a very panicked Hunter, wondering how he got there. And once again, we have attackers are forced onto a really bad economy, but the Chambers, is your eco round really that bad?
I like this Viper's hit on B, as Deep Below well aware that Diplomax likes to push this one pretty hard, so they're gonna just elect to rotate this time. No, I'm not gonna do the same thing we kind of saw on the other half, where Diplomax, I believe, just tried to push through mid on Deep Below's defense. But Shuki here holding this angle, it could be good. I believe that is a judge they've got in their hands as well, so a lot of damage could be inflicted, but everybody's actually avoiding that angle. They, again, just don't want to have anything to do with the C this time. Oh, but it is going to be Moshi turning that corner. Are found by Shiku. But it gets another one as well. Going to be a 3v3 now, as A site has been cleared. So we're getting a big rotation coming in from Deep Below, but the plant will go out.
It's really interesting to see how both of these teams have played the Harbor ults. Once they get the site, they just
Last player standing.
looks like Vitally is getting a 420 to clear it. You blink and you miss the end of that round, but once again, they play for that heaven control. This time through mid, everyone just nice and quiet, working their way up. I don't believe Gashiku actually heard anyone until they saw Callie. Correct me if I'm
They
wrong.
might not have. Yeah.
But we have Hunter holding on to an ultimate so they can have a really strong retake this coming around if they so please. But Deagles are going to be in the hands of the defense, just sitting back, hanging out, get our economy together just a little bit more. Don't need to go too crazy as we're seeing these chambers continuously just passing this off back and forth. Fairly standard for the agent. And when they don't have an op, it seems like they always have this headhunter in hand, getting ready to be able to make these picks. As able to grab crit offer, force that rendezvous back, and then play for A. Vitally being able to get that first frag, and another ratty wall from Cali. No one sees him. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's
player
honestly been a
standing.
little bit of a recurring theme here. I
Spike
think
planted.
today has been a lot of sneaky plays coming up. This round almost certainly going to go here towards DPLO Max. By Shiku has a very tough task ahead of them, and everybody knows where they are. So the 7-11, favorite convenience store, and the score that we have at the moment.
Yeah, let's watch that back for a minute. Vantic going to be the first one to... second one to fall because crit offer was grabbed by Moshi to start us off, and then he just gets caught in heaven with the headhunter in hand. But watch this again. The guiding light didn't spot Cali, so no one thinks to... Look at him, and the right click, he had time to miss a right click before anyone turned. That's incredible.
Time to miss a right click. That is the story of my Valorant career right there. It seems like there's always plenty of time for that for me.
The perfect time to whiff your shots is all the time. As we're seeing another mid-take. Bomb buddies making their way up. Guiding light gonna be spotting. We have one in vent. Just hold it down for a little bit as Vitally is already past the snake bite, and they can just continue to work their way up with the Trailblazers to spot out Vantic. And Rendezvous just gonna get away. Nice, safe and sound. Sing a little bit of a sing-song as the Cabbage Patch Kids come out. The Seekers on the prowl, gonna be taking away crit offer. And look at this again, giving away this entire site. We have Harbor Ult, we have Showstopper, we have all of the utility and all of the bodies to make this work. Sure, Moshi can pop his Viper's Pit, we'll just crack it open, no problem, we're confident. Is all DPLO's gonna say, just get together, play your duos. Oh, they flashed, no one's pushing, we're okay, calm down, it's okay. And here we have that Showstopper coming in alongside a Guiding Light, this could be huge.
Satchel
Frank's gonna be pushed back for just a minute. Here comes the Showstopper. Bye by Shiku. It's gonna come up a little. It's gonna come up dry this time. Kova's out as well by Shiku. Finds another one, but it's gonna be Franklin holding that long angle that continues to make things happen. And Hunter caught in heaven without a prayer. Gonna be forced to back away and just give the round to Diplomax again. And what a comeback we have seen from them. Truly an attacker-sided map.
That's an extremely expensive round for the defenders to lose, especially as we're seeing Diplomax start to get their roots dug into this. And yeah, another timeout's going to be coming in from the coach over on defense, just saying, hold on, guys. This is our game to win. Please, stop getting crazy. We need these ults to land. I think that's the second Rosa ult from Bishiku this game. Maybe even this half. If we're really feeling dicey. I don't remember if they've used it quite yet on this half before that. And again, Diplomax didn't have to commit a Viper's Pit. Franklin, he's still holding on to the same op we've had for quite a while, so he doesn't have to pop his ultimate. He can just sit there, look pretty, hold that gun nice and shiny. And I think at this point he's just using it to blind them, as we haven't seen a lot of him needing to actually put it to use. So far this game, he's been able to just skate on by while everyone else has fallen around him and just use his utility to get some information.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the operator really not very effective, right? Just given the number of walls. I mean, there's walls everywhere, walls for days. Like we could start a Habitat for Humanity here with as many walls as we're getting with these 4 controllers on this point. So yeah, I mean, the operator is a not a raider. I don't know. It's not getting used, and it's not going to have a lot of value. Is the point I'm trying to make, just given how much these controllers are doing right now.
Yeah, these controllers are coming up huge. I'm looking forward. I hope one of these harbors eventually hits the forbidden donut tech with their wall, though. just encapsulate themselves in a circle and say, "This is my arena. To go in, I walk out." And we're gonna see a really slow round from the attackers, just trying to wind that timer down, get themselves composed. They've had a lot of time to talk and just try to keep themselves together, not wanting to give away any of the space that they've already been able to garner, being able to get most of this comeback, as it looks like Hunter elected to just leave Crit Offer all alone with Vitally getting ready to storm them. And amazing shot coming in as soon as they land. Hunter in a little bit of a raggy position on Heaven. I don't think anyone's able to even hear him as they get spotted out. And interesting economic decision there, being able to
Spike
have
planted.
a Phantom and full shield on a Sheriff. Seems to be working out for him now.
Wow. Hunter taking out Franklin this time. It's going to be a slow drop from Heaven. Going to be nixed by Leo from Diplomax. Aware of the shenanigans that were approaching. They catch sight of another one, but Callie's going to be a little quicker on the trigger this time. Now 2 players, both again approaching from Heaven, kind of from the same angle. If a DPLO gets a read on this, they should be able to take them out relatively quickly, but I don't think they're even going to try and aggress onto point, as there's just not enough time for a defuse. And with that wall coming up as well, nothing to be done for it. They're just going to tuck tail, run away. They get 1 exit pick, so a little bit of a bonus for them there, but not a whole lot, to be perfectly honest. So 2 rounds now separating these two, and last 4 here have been from Diplomax. 5 of the last 6, in fact, have gone their way.
Yeah, that's a ratio we can get behind. Always nice to see the attacker side of the map continuing to show the attackers able to take this space. And I'm a little bit concerned as we're getting down to the wire that DPLO won't be able to keep up, as Diplomax is continuing to use their ult economy very well. Still having his Viper's path right, going for the same pick. Vitally just jumping in, falls a little bit short, but Bishiku going to be shutting them down this time, as it's them alone on this site, not really having a space to be able to pull out. I'm afraid it's caught in a snake bite by Moshi. And 44, we have room to get this Viper's pick down. There we are, and the plant. This is a scary round for DPLO.
Yeah, there's not much that DPLO it has here in their toolkit, right? The Seekers would be great at this point, but that's just not something they're going to be able to use at this point. So they're going to try and approach through the Viper's pit.
That snake bite, if they could get a little bit deeper, could have came out huge. Got the Trailblazer to work with it, but Baba Yaga is just going to be better for a moment. Franklin, the turtle over here, getting through that wall. And it's now a 2v2. Things are actually looking pretty good.
1 enemy remaining. Last player standing.
It's going to be down to a 1v1. Crit Offer with just 1 HP to go. Not enough time to go for the defuse. Swaps Guns gets the kill, but has to tuck tail and run away. Not even, I think, far enough to... Oh, they barely escaped. I mean, that was a buzzer beater right there.
Yeah, welcome to the swap-in shot from Crit Offer, picking up a new gun as they get peeked out on. That's a spot that would make anyone panic, but their aim was true. And we're 10-11 now. Very close. We might be seeing this go into overtime if DPLO is able to rein this in just a little bit, forcing up to be able to try to make this with people not even having armor. But we do have Vantic with the operator. The Seekers is at the ready for the next retake. So things are going to start looking up for a little bit at least before they get any worse. Baba Yaga clearing out hell with the Trailblazer. And again, Vitally being able to go big. This time gets traded. And all of these walls, you can't see anything when you're trying to make a take right now. So you just have no choice but to wait it out. Cool, they got the bomb down. And just start hooking our way back in, take this space, and try to run the round.
Guiding Light gonna contribute to Hunter's demise. Baba Yaga now with some features of their own. They're trying to use those to hold on to sight. Themselves an idea of where everybody's coming from, so now they know. It's going to be somebody on the flank. Callie making a little bit of noise, so Baba Yaga going to start moving around them. Going to go for the defuse here as Vantic has found one.
Remaining.
Taking the
Last
plan.
player
Baba Yaga
standing.
finds one, turns the corner. It's going to be Callie who finds the other. Goes for, again, the fake defuse, but there's just not enough time. That has been the tale here today for DPLO on their defense.
That choice was made.
Yeah, DPLO just can't secure these retakes so far. DPLO Max has been really good about once they get that site, it's theirs. I think every single round they've won so far, they have taken that site, they have held it, they've played that buddy system, grabbing each other by the belt loops and saying, no, please don't go, papa. And it's been working wonders for them. Honestly, being able to shut out these operators every time by just saying, hey, I'm gonna scribble all over this map, you cool with it? Cool. And just take space wherever they want. As we see Moshi running the show in this mirror match. There goes Callie all over again. And this is not the spot you want to be in as the below.
It just shuts down the Viper's pit as well, right? Like, that's big. Because I think that was not necessarily a win condition for you here, because the ultimates in a lot of cases just aren't that strong in Valorant, but certainly a big contributing factor. Now, you don't have that at all, and in fact, you're down one player too, so just doubly bad here for Deep Below as Diplomax starts to make another push towards A, continuing to avoid Diplo mid.
Yeah, being down that warm body, the Viper's Pit just gives you a lot of staying power, especially on these eco rounds where no one's really buying much. And here we have High Tide. We're going to take a tail as old as time vitally with the double blast pack, just taking all this space, saying, hey, wait, they gave us another site? And Leo, where did you come from? Grabbing Bishiku. Just staying there, watching it, their back.
30 seconds
left. In hand, no fear, just like, hey guys, I got this, don't worry about it. And Moshi just continuing to take space. And it's all down to Hunter and Vantic all over again.
Vantic looking for something in heaven. Moshi gonna peek briefly. It's gonna alert everybody else who's up there, most notably Vantic, and that is going to be a flawless red. I mean, that was the best chance, honestly, that DPLO had of coming back in this, because this economy, they're gonna be able to, well, they are gonna be able to actually get full rifles. I take that back. So I think just with as many rounds as they have lost in a row, they're gonna get that extra economic bonus to allow them to hopefully be able to go toe-to-toe here, send this into overtime. But with the way that Diplo Max is running right now, I don't know how likely that is.
Yeah, when life is mucky, you're supposed to just grab a Bucky so you can bust a sluggy around these walls. I mean, it's best strat in the game, as we all know. Guiding Light's not going to spot anyone out as all these smokes go up. Sort of Force, he's just sitting there with an op in hand going, come on, guys. Come on, I want to play my point-and-click game. And learning from their mistakes, though, Deep Below has 3 people playing around this A site, knowing that Diplomax has a really strong hold once they get this site. But continuing to run this timer, let everyone run their util until everything's gone. A little bit of a spray through that smoke, but Franklin, he shrugs it off. Just a little flesh wound, as we're going to see Yuko continue to go back and forth. A minute left on this clock. And it looks like they're almost scared, but here comes the ult for a little bit of information. We hear you, finally! No fear, they push in, crit offer! Wow, stunned and partially blind, able to grab one, but it looks like Diplomax is gonna take this snipe, and Shiku!
Shiku starts to even the playing field here, but the plan is going to go down. Callie not able to quite push in as quick as they want.
Last player
a little bit of heals for Moshi as Callie peeks the corner, finds one. Comes the guiding light as well around the corner, gonna blind one. They do get one kill. They just have heaven to deal with it. They do.
Attackers win.
Baba Yaga gets the final blow and gives Diplomax the win here on Split. The come from behind victory.
Yeah, Bishiku getting a really huge double play there for a moment, being able to try to take back some space for them. Callie winning their one, but then it all comes down to this op just not quite getting to hold their ground. The guiding light from Baba Yaga is good to get some information, and then they just make quick work of Callie. Oh,
yeah, that was great stuff there in the end. I loved that play. I mean, the flick onto I forget whose head, whoever was on the low ground, was just phenomenal, and then just a quick, very, very controlled taps, right, as well, to take out, again, whoever that was in heaven. So just phenomenal stuff coming out from Diplomax, and to be able to come back from an 8-4 deficit. No, take that back. From a 10-4 deficit. A 10-4 deficit, right? Like let's think about that. Once it was 10-4, they won 7? Hold on. No, that's not right. 9 9
There's
out
the
of the
math.
next 10 rounds they took. 9
Oh.
out of the next 10 rounds they took. Right
Yeah.
after it went to 10-4. So I mean, what a phenomenal showing coming out there from Diplomax. But we're gonna throw it to a break right before we do that. Loki, any final words from you for the audience to ponder while we go grab some water, do what we need to do?
I was honestly really ready for a phantom moment to just lead us to overtime when Vantic was staring down the scope of the op, had Moshi in their sight line. That shot going wide off of the shot tag from the phantom into Moshi going, "Wait, you're not dead!" and being able to bring it back was insane.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon with map number 2 here between Diplo Max and DPLO. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the broadcast. We are here for VLS Valorant. Score stands at 1-0. Diplomax with what a comeback, Loki. Like I'm still reeling from that.
Yeah.
I think the most stark statistic for me was 9 out of the last 10 rounds went the way of Diplomax after being down 10-4. So what a phenomenal showing.
Yeah, honestly, just a tactical-sided map, but what's really got me is the amount of times people just didn't check their corners. We had Callie with a 3K just chilling behind their toxic screen at one point. They had time to miss a right click on the classic as 3 people stormed the site. We had a moment from, I believe it was not Bashiku, apologies. It was from Vitally with a sheriff in hand on that save round, just letting Baba Yaga bait for them, just hanging out in a corner, shuts down a showstopper, gets another pick, and they didn't convert the round, but for a save round, that's insane.
Yeah,
It
no,
is,
that's fantastic
uh,
stuff. Just a wonderful, wonderful map to start things off here tonight, and we are going to be headed to a set next. But before we go there, just because I feel like this is nobody complains. I've got dogs, my roommate's dogs, and here we go. We're gonna take a peek at them right now. Aren't they the cutest?
aw.
Aren't they just lovely? That's Winnie on
So,
the left and Mowgli on the right. They were barking a lot. I wasn't sure if you could have heard them earlier, but yeah, they're asleep now.
I
Love those
mean,
doggos.
while we got that banter going, though, what is the best chicken tender flavor? I want to see everyone's contender for this in the chat at some point or another. Mine personally is sweet Korean fire or Cajun teriyaki right now.
Oh wow. I mean, Cajun's real good. Like Cajun and Creole cooking is my favorite style of cooking. I just love that spice. I love the heat. And the seafood too is great. But as far as chicken tender flavors, I think I might have to go with just the standard like. No, I'm gonna go with Cajun. Never mind. I thought about it. I'm going
Okay.
with Cajun. If it's a
Listen,
toss up between that barbecue and buffalo, like I love all
okay.
three. I love all
Yeah.
three, but when you're looking for something real special, I think you go for that Cajun, right? Because if you're gonna go buffalo, I feel like you want to go for the buffalo wings, right? Not just
Mhm.
tenders. And for barbecue too, I love a good barbecue, but I like it more on my ribs,
I see.
or something like a good sausage link or something. Get some
Mhm.
Texas or KC style barbecue. Good question. Good question.
Yeah.
I've got one related. If we go to a map 3, I'll ask
Yeah.
that one. Kind of on the back end of that. I like it.
I had the
Oh.
classic at the ready in case you answered it wrong, so don't worry about it. I'm ready at all times. Come on, we see it right there. Come on.
I like it. I like it. Well, speaking of ready, I think these players are ready to go. So I think we can go ahead and get this map loaded in. As we're going to Ascent, right? It's hard to find a more classic map, I think, in Valorant, to be perfectly honest. So a lot of the strategies I think have been really sussed out here. Mid, while I think it is important on split, right? And we saw it hotly contested at least on Deep Below's side. Diplomax for the most part just kind of ignored it. I don't think they're gonna be able to do that though on Ascent as we get loaded in there.
Yeah, and we're just gonna duck right on in to our champ select. I think we're gonna be seeing very similar comps, despite both of these teams having a little bit of reps in with Gecko. I unfortunately don't think he's gonna be finding his way in as Callie is
Echo!
hovering Omen instead. Hunter on the nice comfy Sova pick. Able to use that Hunter's Fury to be able to try to get a bunch of value. The recon bolts coming back. It's a bit of good information. And Leal, instead of going Harbor, opts for KO. Nice little flex there as Vitally is on the controller slot this time, oddly enough. And it looks like Franklin is going to be our duelist coming out from Diplomax.
Yeah, interesting choices so far. I'm gonna be really curious to see what Moshi kind of settles on in the end, right? In between the Cypher and the KJ. I think we're seeing a lot more Cypher recently. And I'm still a big KJ fan. I think more times than not, if it's going to be a choice between those two, especially when we're talking about Ascent, right? Like, especially when we're talking about Ascent, I think that KJ is almost indispensable. So I like what we're seeing from Deep Below, who just about have all of their picks in at the moment. Yeah, okay, we're starting to get a couple of the last ones locked in at this point. Um, And yeah, no Gecko. Unfortunate, sad. Would have loved to have seen it. It looks like we aren't going to get a Harbor either at this stage of the game. I think this is what we're going to be locked in on.
Maybe no Duelist as well coming out from DPLO Max. Yeah, no Duelist. So we're going to be relying on Franklin to be able to engage on a lot of these initial takes with that KO pop flash. Just come out of the gate swinging. They opt for a double controller, double initiator. So attack will be very slow running, I believe. But defense will be able to rotate pretty soundly with those. Omen able to take space on any part of the map he really pleases. And we still have that Viper slow burn at the ready.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think both of these teams are actually going to be looking. Their comps are kind of situated for the second half of this map, right? We've got a much more, I think, defensive composition coming out from Diplomax, whereas we've got a much more aggressive one for DPLO. But that's the sides are swapped, right? Essentially for that circumstance, for that instance. And you know, there are, I do want to say, right, what's interesting about Diplomax's composition, right, is there isn't really a lack of flashes or initiation tools. It's just going to be split between the Omen and the KO in this case. So as this round gets underway and we see a push coming out from Diplomax onto the B site, mid actually being hotly contested here, Diplomax making no bones about it. They want to take mid, they want to take it all for themselves, and B-side definitely going to be the hit here. KJ forced to back up on the site from a deep below. A lot of gunfire being exchanged now kind of on the back site of B. So everybody is descending on it. Not a whole lot that Vanta can do, but they are able to find one. They get traded out. So the plant will go down as the rest of Diplomax kind of, or Deep Blue kind of surrounds the site. But a big thing for Diplomax is they're all on site. That's not where you want to be.
Yeah, we saw last game, Diplomax very strong for holding the sites, and I want to take a moment to be able to highlight these pick differences as
one enemy
site.
remaining.
They get 2-3 with Cowley on the other hand.
Yeah, but she could come in with the defuse there at the end. I think a big part of the reason Deep Blue was able to walk away from that is that Diplomax, they took it quickly, but not quick enough, right? And it was slow enough to where they couldn't get anybody off site. And when you don't have anybody off site, it's just like shooting fish in a barrel when you come to B site on the retake.
Yeah, and we saw them all fall down, but let's talk about Leal. Probably the most unlucky man of this round, getting turned into a lightning rod before he could even make it to site. Baba Yaga feeling pretty... Not Baba Yaga. Oof. It's Hunter feeling pretty good about that one with the Sova in the back pocket as we're going to be getting ready to go into another round. Setting up, trying to get a little bit of a mid-take, get this information back and forth. We don't really have guns. This is the shortest path to get where we want to go with hopefully the least contention. They're going to start heating up. Dantic with the first pick, but they're caught in paranoia. Ran down.
Once again, it is going to be a B site.
Spike down.
This time
B.
able to defend it. Just going to be
remaining.
two players. One player remaining here from Diplomax. They're trying the same thing, but they're getting caught kind of in the exact same trap here, Loki. Baba Yaga certainly has some firepower behind them.
Yep. But this is all Deep Low wanted. They just wanted to get a couple picks. At this point, I'm pretty sure Baba Yaga's going, so, how did I get here, actually? As they pick up this spike, they're spotting a couple people on this recon bolt. I believe that was Cowley and Crit Offer spotted. So they don't quite make the jump and start stomping around in this water. That one way from Cowley could be a bit dangerous if they stick in it. And they're caught with the timing. Cowley just whipping around right as they go into Boathouse.
Gun here.
Yeah, great showing again there from Deep Below. These fast rotations, I think, are what are really giving him such a big advantage here. And also Diplomax, they're committing all of their players to point, which you don't necessarily need to do, right? And you don't necessarily have to get everyone off point and then send a couple back off it in order to hold that space. You need to leave a couple off it in order to hold that point.
Yeah, no, just tell our players, look at them dead in the face, look at motion, be like, sit, stay, wait a minute. But it looks like the Shiku is going to be impatient. Tailwind shut out. You hear them stomping around. Vital able to jump up, but he's taken out right at the start. That's a really big pick to be able to grab for free on the side of DPLO. Getting that man advantage. Hunter does get the ping, has the areas in hand. This could be dangerous. Baba Yaga just skates out with their life.
Hunter just murders that dog on the wall there on B side with the machine gun, but that's the only thing that's gonna fall there. And deep below, still I think happy about this position, right? They're forcing Diplomax to rotate back over towards B, where they have had a lot of success.
And we see, again, they're going to go for this take. Okay, cool. We're spot on the recon. Doesn't matter. We're already here. We're going to commit. Don't have the time otherwise. And the paranoia does catch Hunter. There's a gap in the
down
smoke.
B.
Oh my gosh, that's big right there. Deep below, able to regain control now. Hunter on site. Gonna be taken out by Baba Yaga though, so will be a 3v3. But once again, everybody here from Diplomax is on point. Now that the spike has been planted and nobody's still making an effort to get off, Holly's still gonna make sure that they got some smokes up towards main. Make sure nobody's peeking from there. But again, they're just gonna be able to kind of descend on this site and take it. Callie picked up a nice jump on their way there. Turns the corner, finds Moshi. It is gonna be a 2v2 now. On the back of sight, taken out by Callie. Critoffer finds one as well. And again, deep below finds the picks, finds the round.
I was just about to say, it's very much like these teams to sit there and just toss away. Oh, I cannot hit the tech pause, actually. Oh, there's my button. All right, once we get into, we're going to go into a tech pause. Wait a minute, and let's break down that round a little bit. Normally, these teams have a very hard time getting to make their space on their bonus rounds. But as we saw, no problems here coming out with a Callie running right on in, had a frenzy, no shields, picks up a phantom, is able to convert Moshi, and is able to secure that round with, honestly, ease going into that. Let's not shrug off Vantic and Bashiku's role in these, though. Like, Bashiku is a force to be reckoned with, getting these early picks, jumping right down their throats, and just not letting people have that initial space is honestly huge so far. But
Yeah, it has been absolutely massive, right? Being able to control that space and control the map is really, I think, what's allowing Deep Below to come away with so many rounds. So Diplomax really needs to, I think, kind of rethink their approach as a whole. But seeing as we are, I believe, on a tech pause, is that correct?
Yep, it looks like we got Vantic back and everyone is ready to go. We'll be bringing this timer back in just a moment. There we are. Yeah, we're going into this round. Rifles for Deep Below. They didn't have to toss anything away for it. And Diplomax has to rethink their strategy for a moment. That was their round to win. And they just tossed it off right at the end there. So now they're down to Sheriff in the hand of Moshi. We know they're good for it. They kind of have the magic flick, as it were, so far. And Baba Yaga, Sova with an Ares on Ascend. It's a tale as old as time, or at least as old as Valorant. You know, we only have a couple years on it. As Bashiku coming out huge with the op, gets caught though in the updraft. Franklin will be taking them out. It's a bloodbath. Here's Callie going to start bringing it out on top. Critoffer starting to run through the flash, but Leo able to grab them before anything was too crazy. 20 HP left for Callie as they're going to toss their way out. Leo trying to get the space, get himself a rifle, make this 2 versus 3 happen as the From the Shadows going to get a reposition on their flank. I don't think Deep Below is any the wiser as it was canceled, but they're going to be making their way over onto B. Leo and Vitally not too good for where, but they're going to be able to try to make something happen. Leo now has the hero rifle as we're getting into the late stages of the map. Vantic trusts his util. Watch at the back, and KJ, the only teammate you ever need, getting the intro pick on this site take. It's all down to Leo. He's shaking in his boots as the dark cover comes out. And he has a flash drive at the ready to be able to try to make this happen. But that's a lot of KJ util we hear just outside. Baits up the alarm bot, gets those nano swarms ticked, and they're going to be dropping very soon as they're able to get onto site, but can't even take Vantic. Full blind, has that moment to adjust, and just bing, no commands his head. as we're going into another round. Now both sides have rifles. Things might look a little bit better for DPLO on this, but their attack came together most of the time once they were able to get the site. Right now, it does not seem like they're going to be able to for this game, unfortunately. And Callie, just being a star player on this Omen so far, has had some huge paranoias and has been able to just wreak havoc whenever they're left alone. And here we have it, another mid take. Looks like it's going to be coming out as we see the knife landing right on top of Market, right on their forehead. You know exactly where you are. You better step away for a moment there, Leal. As Baba Yaga is going to be leading the charge with their right-hand man off the side. Crit offer tosses the drive out, but gets hit. That's a phantom moment if I've ever seen one. Bishiku going to be holding A main with the operator as Hunter holding a little bit of a ratty angle on Pizza over here. I'm not gonna lie, he's at the ready for anyone who wants to creep their way up, and we're seeing just a really standard hold from defenders right now. No one's getting too overzealous. Looks like Callie's getting a little bit antsy playing his dark cover, but for good reason. I think he's got that spidey sense tingling right now. You see some utility used to be able to take him off this angle, but he's going to charge for a moment to be able to spray through that smoke. Almost converts one. And there we have it. Legal is going to fall through a smoke yet again. And we're going to be seeing if Deep Below can retake this site. Shot darts traded back and forth. And Moshi grabbing Vantic, snaked all the way up mid, and gonna try to wrap back around into tree, keep this site held nice and tight. I like the issues that they're having on B. They're able to get this person offsite to hold, but Callie, aggressive push, and we get that pinch. Hunter drop, but he's just a lamb ripe for the slaughter from all angles. They just start firing on him. And the op is going to be going back into the hands of DPLO for just a moment. Ultimate's online on both sides. We can trade lockdowns if we so please. We have the ults coming out from Franklin, potentially try to get a cheeky little bit of repositioning, add a little bit of chaos and spice to the mix. And if Bishiku is starting to feel like an all-star, they could pop the Blade Storm and have a little bit of a reset city. So it looks like Franklin is going to be holding a cheeky angle on A main. This could just be a very slow draw for our attackers, as Callie, very aggressive paranoia right out the gate over on B. Some important util tossed away for free right at the start. And Bishiku, again, this aggression we were talking about earlier, just roping their way up, slowly drawing their way towards the attacker's spawn, waiting to hear some footsteps happen, or just any sign that they can latch on and get aggressive. The recon bolt not going to see Franklin, so they're going to stay right on by. Not even make flicking time. Bishiku with the head tap. And we're going to see an Owl Drone to try to make this B take happen through all of the smokes, spotting out Callie, forcing him to back off, and we're going to have another nice standard cheeky B take, but it looks like they're not going to commit everyone on this site. I think no command comes out.
Yeah, that's going to be a big null command too. That's going to allow them to get the site relatively easly. We're also going to see the Viper's Pit committed, which is going to allow them to pretty much negate the usefulness of the CT approach. So now we're seeing everybody start to rotate through cafes, through pizza, depending on what you prefer to call it. Here comes both lockdowns as well, so everybody likely just going to be running away from point en masse right now. Going to be left on its own, but crucially, a lot of the players from Diplomax are going to be able to hide out in Boathouse. 2 players, though, detained by the attackers, so going to be feeling really good about this as a couple of trades come in.
Nowhere to run!
Comes the Hunter's Fury as well, thrown out towards main by Baba Yaga. So once again, trying to keep everybody at bay. They are able to find one, and the attackers do pick up a second round here, Loki. And by the way, just wanted to say thank you for covering me for those couple of minutes. Do appreciate you doing that. I am back. I see the salute.
Yeah. Either way, pizza, pasta, I don't care what you want to call it with those lockdowns. Diplomax just boxed it deep below right on in.
Remaining.
Hunter's Fury, able to convert one. He looks like he's flying for just a moment, just soaring on the high of getting one frag, and almost is able to grab another tag. But unfortunately for him, but fortunately for the round, teammate comes through as Bashiku continuing to be very aggressive, has the Blade Storm out, supported by the recouple. Paranoia that whiff, but is forced to tailwind away and just have their tail between their legs, no armor to work with anymore, as we're seeing a really early rotate from defenders to hold this B site, but that bomb is going into another castle, I'm afraid. With Vitally once again leading the charge, he's not a duelist, hold on, clearing these corners. Oh my lord, Juggle. The way Vantic just slid by all of those shots, call him Neo.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that was ridiculous. That should not be allowed. Don't know how it was done. Riot, please nerf. Door getting taken out.
Suppressed.
Gonna be Leo throwing a little bit of suppression up on the high ground. 3 agents actually identified, so that's gonna be a lot of great information coming the way of Diplomax. Baba Yaga now trying to spray through Heaven. Hunter down to just 5. It's going to be machine guns just spraying everywhere, and through the end of a Diplomax actually comes away with 3. Make it a flawless round for them to cut that lead down to just 1.
Honestly, just clutch players. The moment that we start putting a little bit of pressure, they decided to come right on in, run it up, and show them, no. This is our game. Vitally, still, he's playing so aggressive with this Viper. It's really fun to see, especially even though we're seeing this toxic screen coming out early. Like, come on, push me. I know you want to. And it's this confidence you love to see in these players, regardless of how they may perform. As we're looking at sales, Vitally has been running things a little bit. And they're going to continue to take this space, grab these orbs, try to play for another pit in a moment. But after all of those issues were ironed out earlier, we were talking, everyone's being committed to the site. Come on, we need some people off site. That one little adjustment, Diplomax decided, hey, we're going to actually just take all of this space. It is ours now. No, you can't have it. As we see this very split place out in Odin in the hand of Hunter. Things are terrifying on the side of Diplomax as Roshi's tagged for half of their health. But we see Baba Yaga, he's still hanging out, you know. Gonna have a nice little stroll as the bomb's starting to snake its way into this A site, potentially into the hands of Vantic as the toxic screen will come up, that turret falls, and the knife will spot out Vantic on Heaven.
Vantic is holding their ground though. They're gonna come into a duel here with Vitally. Be taken out, so paid off for them to do that. We do have from the shadows coming in. Leo finds
30 seconds
one.
left.
The back of that, but in the meantime, Franklin is all the way on B site, and nice Hunter's Fury. They're going to be able to catch out Franklin, take them down. So the defense here for DPLO looking a little better than it has recently.
Yeah, Franklin just failed his dance revolution. Check to see Bashiku random headshot through the smoke at the end of the spray. Oh, it's all down to Baba Yaga. We call it one. And Hunter just guns them down to grab another round for our defenders.
Yeah, great round there from DPLO to keep things in play, to secure a little bit more for their lead.
And look at this economy. Look, we're not even able to afford rifles for a couple people potentially here. Hold on. Hunter going to have to buy back utility. Yeah, he can't buy a rifle for anyone. Vantic is going to be one of the immediate people suffering from this. Just has to grab a bulldog. And honestly, having those rounds lost in a row and then the round you win, so many people dying, you just suffer from success for a moment. As that was a really big Hunter's Fury. Franklin needs to warm up his movement just a little bit more and he'll be good as we get ready to go into another round. It looks like we're going to see both teams wanting to contest mid just a bit. And again, Bashiku with these very aggressive angles, it could get dicey as things are going on. Shots back and forth through the smokes.
Yeah, just about everybody pushing up that direction as well. Kali trying to stall things out with a little bit of spray from the machine gun to the wall. Lila, in the meantime, starting to head the charge onto A site through tree. But is a little bit worried to do so. They've only got 39 HP to speak of. So now we're getting, again, this wholesale rotation out towards B. But look at the util that KJ has up on B right now.
Yeah, no, this site is Vantic through and through. And Leo, At this point, every time he sees a smoke, he has to try a little bit inside, as I think he's been tagged through all except for that poison orb. Taking the site. There we go. Vantic gone before any of the Yuto can get popped. This is the site for Diplomats. And I think they're going to start to sink their teeth into Fragment Field, take space
Spike
back
planted.
and we had Vitally mid, but they're gone now.
Yeah, so a lot of it is going to just come down, I think, to the KJ, who is kind of sitting off point right now, but they're in the Omen smoke, which means not a lot of use going to be taken from that. Plus, Crit Offer is down, actually, in there. Take it back. Everybody's down. Just everybody's down. Thought done.
Everyone did the flop for a minute there. Crit Offer had a really good idea with Milkman to come out. Callie was able to get one. For a moment there, it was looking great, but then they just got rolled. You blink, you miss that round. As we're coming into it, just watching this take from the defenders trying to retake this round, and I gotta cry a little bit for Leo as we see everything going down in some beautiful flames. He's once again turned into the lightning rod.
I mean, sometimes you gotta be that person, right? I mean, there's been several games I've played where, unbeknownst to me, my friends who are stronger than me at the game would just use me as bait. And be like, hey, go peek that corner. Be like, okay, do. We win, I die. But already we're getting just a furious approach here onto A. This time Diplomats changing things up in a really significant way, and clearly DPLO was not ready for it. Ollie, though, able to secure the high ground here, but a snake bite's going to force them back just a little bit, which buys just more time off of the clock here. They're out of paranoia, but again, there's going to be smoke in the way, this time courtesy of Viper, so Vantic not really able to do much. Gonna throw out a turret, so once that smoke goes down, they get a ping on where everybody is standing. But Diplomax has burned off so much time off the clock, they have to move now, but they're just not making the approach. Two players on critical. It's just gonna be Vantic left. They are able to spray through the smoke and find one, but the attackers take another round. Diplomax evens it at 5.
Alright, if Vantic survived any longer in that smoke, I probably would have lost my mind. Starting to spray from 3 different players, is able to convert the kill onto Baba Yaga. Absolutely wild. Their ability to just stay alive in these situations, tucking in their smoke, saying, nope, I don't feel like getting hit today, sorry. Just wiping a little chip off their shoulder. As we're getting into this timeout, we have the defenders talking from me like, hey, we have a couple rounds left in this half. Let's keep this close, and we'll just storm them on defense. We'll storm them on attack. We have Bishiku to use their tailwind to dash into a couple cloud bursts, just be able to clear all of our corners, dot our I's, cross our T's, and hope we can execute that site with ease for just a moment. As well as Diplomax gonna sit there like, oh wait, we have lockdown. We have Hunter's Fury. That post plant, that's ours. That is our time to win. Just get on that site, and Godspeed, Leo. Please don't get hit through a smoke again.
That's Leo's specialty, you know. It's what they're on. It's why they got on the team, right? And then the tryouts, they were just like, I don't know what it is. Can't hit you through a smoke, so we're taking you. But Leo, the defense Hunter's gonna have another machine gun, I think, so likely gonna see them on B. So a lot of information gonna be taken there as we get ready to load into this round. And it's a good thing too, because the majority of the players so far are pushing up in that direction. As a lot of gunfire exchange there. We can hear that machine gun going and keeping everybody at bay as Hunter throws in the shock dart to see if they can find a little bit of damage, maybe a cheeky kill, but none to be had. This time around, they're going to go for round 2. This time, a little bit of damage onto the KJ, but nothing super significant. So they spray through the wall, see if they can get a little bit more, but instead it's going to be Vitally who finds the opening pick once again in favor of Diplomax.
Yeah, Vitally, it doesn't matter what agent you put them on. I'm coming to realize more and more they're going to snake their way into getting the first bloods on these rounds every time. I feel like almost every single round when it feels like not much is going on, Vitally just decides to go, you know, I'm bored. Let's click this head. As bombs over on B, we've given that site. Everyone over on DPLO is hanging out like, we'll retake it as the snow command's gonna come out. Site's gone. Shadow step to get onto the switch, be able to close that door. Wash your hands with it. This take, done. We need to reposition some people, get them off of this site so we have room to work with and room to flank people with on this take. But again, let's look at that for a second. Hold on, the timing coming out from Vitally. He able to convert 2 picks.
Wow.
Even though Vantic was able to get their mirror match. Things aren't looking great in this 2 versus 3. And Snakebite is going to keep a little bit more space for them. Just to be able to keep them away from the stairs. Maybe force them onto sidewalk. Poison Orb to creep their way in. As the Paranoia goes out,
Last
Recon
player
will
standing.
counter it. And Vitally might ace here. Hold on. 4 on there. Crit offer will be shutting that down. Not allowed that much excitement quite yet, but they will get double swung to win the round.
Last
Yeah,
round
big
in
round
the half.
there from Diplomax secures them at least a tie in the first half.
Finally, you can't keep your eyes off of this player for too long, otherwise he just gets sad. Like, that's all I can think. The moment we stop watching him for 2 minutes, he's like, guys, I can still play this game, hold on. And whip stuff out like that. Every time. We're getting ready to go for a very explosive take onto this A site to try to secure the rounds. We have 4 ultimates ready for the side of Diplomats. DPLO still holding onto the lockdown to try to hold the site later. As that knife comes in, no one's on this site. They just gave it to us for free. But DPLO thought they'd go B. Very good switch up for this round. There's the Viper's Pit to start securing space on Heaven. A nice big box to work in. And it looks like we might see a lockdown come out to be able to try to take this. This is looking explosive. You should run.
It's going to be a trade, though. We've got both lockdowns in, but the defenders have been taken out, so Diplomax looking a little bit better as far as util is concerned. It's going to be a 3v2. Now, point is Gunfire's exchange. Just going to be 1 player remaining. It is Hunter, but they are down and out. And Diplomax with a 7-5 lead in the first half.
Switching sides.
And, this is already looking better for them than the first game, which they've won in the end, right? By that just tremendous second half.
Yeah, and we see this team was drafted with second half in mind. So the fact that they were able to string a lead together, I mean, I think this game might be closed for the side of Diplomats. Which, however you feel one way or another about these teams, these have been some insane games to watch. And we know Moshi was very dominant for taking space last round. And again, they're going to have some very aggressive KJ util setups to play off of for this defense to be able to hold it off for as long as possible while we use the Viper elsewhere to just hold off aggressive pushes. The Snakebite just completely flooding them away from this B main and kind of forcing DPLO onto this mid push here.
They're definitely still feeling things out, though. They haven't settled on a site as the spike is still down, but definitely a lean towards A. And the defense not to be disturbed by any of this as well. They're just kind of holding their ground.
Yeah, they kind of just drafted this team to say, just keep swimming, and just hold on to so much util that it doesn't matter how many numbers you have, we're overwhelming you. And again, these turrets, they're just sometimes the best teammate you'll ever get. You see Bashiku on almost half health now, and no one's here to heal that up. No one's able to get him a bandage for that boo-boo. So he's just going to have to continue stiffing up and around with it when he looks like he's made of Swiss cheese now.
Yeah, just tough it up. Just tough it out, right?
Yeah, just walk it
what
off.
they're having to
Come
tell
on.
them. Yeah, exactly.
You get in there, you look scary. Come on, you have a ghost in your hand. Be a duelist.
30 seconds
The
left.
Elder comes out beautifully timed with a knife for this take.
But the Snakebite coming out from Vitally, I think, has actually bought them some much-needed time for the rotation. They are going to be taken out by Cali. In fact, it's going to be 2 members down for Diplomax as the plant comes in. So this retake is going to be tough. And crucially, Vantic on the flank as well with the Frenzy. Just going to be the Omen left. Franklin sprinting in, reckless abandon, just trying to get a head or two. Doesn't find it, and that is the kind of round that DPLO needed to stay in this game.
DPLO just kind of keeps dragging Diplomats into these trenches. On every round that they've taken, they're kind of suffocating them on those rounds because they just throw people at the problem. What's that? Our economy's not good? Oh, go swing it. Come on. Hit that W key. No. You're gorgeous. Come on, go strut your stuff. And it's seeming to work for them so far. As we're seeing Diplomax onto the save round again, time and time again. Diplomat, I think, has lost 3 pistol rounds so far, I think. 3 out of the 4 we've had so far.
Yeah, the pistol rounds just they've been kind of Diplomax's Achilles heel here. And now Diplomax has full control of mid too. They just have one defender on A, leaving B completely open. And this gamble, I think, is actually going to pay out well for them if they can get a couple of shots in. But Kelly catches the TP and 2 other players fall in short succession. Right after that, Moshi gets a little bit of damage in, unable to deal the final blow, and Vitaly going to be up on this high ground. Looks to be good for 1, but no. They will not find anything, as the game has been even at 7 apiece.
Things to do.
Yeah, Diplomax usually good on that save round for being able to get a pick or 2. This flawless might swing the economy hard enough in DPLO's favor that we're going to see a couple rounds strung together, potentially including this one, because before DPLO was forced to not have armor on this round most of the time, did not have guns on everyone the other times that this scenario's happened. So that might be all the difference, especially because they have Bashiku to be able to force people to look around. And a very aggressive start. Util traded back and forth on A main. This could be a hotly contended point, as Franklin gonna chill out, take a couple sips in wine, knowing that Leo has him covered. Worst case, hey, the lightning rod's right there. No problem.
You think it's a red or a white wine? I mean, I imagine they've got both available there.
Kind of sweet, so I go with a red.
So red, yeah, I like it. Red like the blood, too, that is about to be spilled all over A site. As Bashiku's starting to turn around this corner.
I mean, blood makes the grass grow. That's all I've learned so far, you know? The knife's gonna be spotting a couple players out on the side of DPLO as they're gonna just make their way back to mid. We have Callie leading the charge, running all the way over to B, saying, no, come on, I got an idea. And that idea could be dangerous, as the first contact is gonna be had at the hands of, get this, the Killjoy turret. Very scary situation indeed, as
30
Moshi
seconds left.
already powering back into Boathouse, is able to dodge the knife and say, guys, please, hurry, I need the cavalry here. As Bashiku is going to get the door closed right in Elman's face, actually. And we have a very aggressive person finally was able to get one traded out. Moshi,
oh, that is
huge. 10 seconds
yeah, and
left.
there's very little time for the spike to go down, so Kelly's just going to be forced to put it where they have to. They're able to pick up a gun in the warehouse, trying to spray through the wall. They do find Franklin. It's a 1-to-1. Kelly with 40 HP. Leo going to try and force the issue, but they find them. What a round. What an absolute clutch round coming out here for the defense.
Probably the big brain idea guy. That all of it goes to him. He's the one that was leading the charge, going, "Hey guys, we got this." But let's talk about Vitally getting a little bit too aggressive for a moment. But Moshi is just the support system you need. Always there, playing off of their teams, just like the rest of their util. All of it's just sacrificable in the end for those trades, in their opinion, at this point. But they're forced back onto Sheriff's light shield and trying to get a couple picks, as Callie is just Scrooge McDuckin rolling in the dough. 6350 creds. No matter what happens, they're set. They can toss away around every once in a while, and it looks like Bashiku is going to come up huge, able to grab 2 frags, and Baba Yaga able to grab Hunter and run away, but it's all down to them on this site to just kind of hide, tuck tail, accept that bomb's going down, and say, guys, please, I flew up.
Well, they're going to be holding down tree, which is, I think, absolutely essential. And look at this flank that's actually coming out from Diplomax. They're going to be going down main. The one thing about this, though, is it's going to have to be quick, right? Once they get a kill or two here, they're going to have to just storm site, because there's not going to be a whole lot of time left. And nobody seems to be aware of it from the defense. We do have KO starting to drop back, keeping an eye on that angle, as is Killjoy, because I think they haven't heard anything for so long. They are anticipating this now. Gunfire has been exchanged. Crit offer going to be good for 1. Going to be a trade, though. And now it's a 2v2. Not a whole lot of time left over Diplomax to make a move, so they're going to push in, and because of that, Bashiku able to find 1. That's going to be another, and the attackers take another round. Deep below, start to bare their fangs a little bit here, Loki.
Yeah, DPLO is starting to string these rounds together and potentially run away with this, which exciting because I want to see Haven. Like, after the way these people play these down and dirty gunfights on these closer angled maps, I want it. I want those long range fights. But let's talk about what came together for that round in particular. I do agree with multiple people on that flank because we did drop a rifle over in A main before, but I think they still needed someone to just kind of play the little flag bearer, go, come on guys, look over here, come on, come on, come on, and just jump around in heaven, just waving it around, going, please don't kill me, but also look here guys, I'm scary. Just long enough to be able to get that rifle and try to convert those picks a bit faster, and Moshi able to just raw aim and slap around a couple players on DPLO, but not fast enough.
No, certainly wasn't quick enough this time around. So, this timeout I think is it's a good call, right? Diplomax I think is certainly still in this, right? I mean, they put together such a phenomenal second half in our last map that is certainly going to be capable of it. I think as we move into now and finalize this bye, we've got all of the members of DPLO pushing over towards B site.
And Franklin with another off in hand. Thankfully, though, it's not too many smokes this time, so there's going to be a little bit more space to work with it. As again, vitally, all the way up in their space for the attacker side, just with a smile on their face, knowing I'm good for one, guys. Don't worry.
Placing swarm grenade.
And lockdown in that Moshi. We hear about Owl coming in. No worries here. We're going to be able to slow that push right down to a halt. The moment you come out of this dark cover, that nanoswarm's getting popped. Bashiku is going to feel...
Oh, they see it.
Bashiku faking a tailwind. Very interesting play as we're going to see just a lot more util come out to stall this. It looks like DPLO wants to actually just rotate this. Cut their loss to say, okay, cool. Most of the time, Diplomax has been very fast on these rotates. Oh. Actually a re-hit?
Ooh. The double juke! They're coming back in. The defense, though, holding strong. Diplomax is not going to be fooled by it. They're sticking to their guns.
30 seconds left.
And Diplomax is starting to actually take control of the site as well. They've got a couple players on it, so definitely aware that this is going to be taken in. The map control that Diplomax has here, I think could lead them to a pretty big win. We're also going to see the lockdown committed. Diplo is good for 3, only 1 in favor of the attackers. 13 seconds left to go. Not left for them to do that. The lockdown actually beautifully timed, beautifully played. This is going to be the round for Diplomax to cut the lead to 1.
Timing from Crit offer to get another pick, though. Leo came out swinging that round. All of that time he spent getting bullied really added up to be able to make a bit of a final boss on that push. With the lockdown timing to secure... No, you're not going to plant this. Bashiku just a little bit too hungry to be able to get that site. When we had Vitally and Moshi in Boathouse, they were ready to swing out, but Leo just said, hold on. You sit there, you watch that lockdown, let it go through. I got you covered.
Going up.
One thing about the lockdown as well, and kind of the choices that have been made by these teams in choosing to run the Viper here over the Brimstone, is you don't have the orbital strike, right? Which can take down the lockdown. I think that would have been absolutely clutch in that last round. But speaking of clutch, Leon and Vitally cutting down the ranks of DPLO to just 3, giving themselves a 1-player advantage as they move on to A, which is largely then left open. We're also going to get the lockdown on the approach. So everybody here from Diplomax going to be aware of it.
Yeah, we have a Viper script to use a little bit later. No one's caught in the lockdown, and I think this positioning over here from DPLO is going to be good. We have someone playing back with a turret in the hands of Archaeo, who's going to be popping those flash drives over the wall anyway. And Paranoia in the hand, going to be slowing this push down. Here to almost Heaven, that door tree can break. Who's going to start hold down Crit offer, who's going to bring it to a 1v1. Flashback. We're going to see that flash drive come out and just spray on the bomb.
It was perfect. Perfect. shot into that smoke. Knew exactly where the spike was. What a round again coming out from DPLO to maintain this lead. Diplomax has gotten oh so close several times, but just unable to get it out of their hands.
It was a beautiful start too for Diplomax. Everything just kind of fell apart when that lockdown went down, and they were scrambling to try to take space. But I don't think anyone was expecting Crit Offer to pop off there. Ascending the ranks so fast with that 4K. We're going to continue seeing very aggressive defense playstyle coming out for Diplomax, and they're able to get a 1-for-1 on a save round. So I already consider that a little bit of a success story, even though Moshi doesn't have a lot of health to work with. You might not be thinking the same way about this round. Doesn't matter, as everyone is swarmed around this A site. We have a peek coming into mid, though.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. This potential duel that's developing on tree and in mid. Looks like it's going to be avoided, though, at the moment. I like what Diplomax did there too, right? When they dropped back to site, they closed the door and then got rid of it, making that site much less tenable, much less appealing for DPLO as they rotate.
Now we see the positioning, leaving Vitally all on their own. Judge is all they need. Like, just a couple pumps this time here and there, no problem.
Toxin screen down.
And they're just toxic screens down. They're continuing to play so aggressively.
30 seconds
Wow.
left. Spike down.
Wow. Finally turned that around in the blink of an eye. And now Hunter going to be forced to just sprint to site and get the plant in. The silver lining for Hunter is that nobody was anywhere close. Now if they can just get off of site a little bit, they have the potential to set up for the post-plant situation with the Hunter's Fury and just keep everybody off. They're going to be able to find one player, make it two. Leo in the end, though, picks one off. Will get the defuse and the round, and once again, bring Diplomax to within one.
Oh my god. As far as Eco Warriors go, Vitally with this very aggressive playstyle, just snaking their way all the way up and just making just a chokehold onto B main. Is able to make it so Kali and Bashika were the first to fall. Vantic, before he's able to even get an idea what's going on, will be the next. And Hunter does restabilize, gets a 2K a little bit later on, but does not have quite the same luck with that spray to be able to convert the round.
Turret out.
Now moving into this next one. Shiku looking to maybe repeat some of the success that we just saw from Vitally. But they are going to have the Blade Storm out and ready to go. Here comes the Hunter's Fury as well. Even get a little bit of information, maybe get a cheeky kill, but none going to be had this time around.
Shadows traveling.
Yeah, as Flanklin, as we've been calling him this entire go-round, all the way up, getting ready to snake his way into mid, but does decide to fall back with Leo and just hang out for a moment going, okay, they're not A, my bad. But I think that was tags on both Bashiku and Hunter with Hunter's Fury.
I think so.
I think they succeeded on their performance check to be able to play a little bit of Dance Dance Revolution around Baba Yaga. As we're going to get into the depth of this round, both teams have a lot of ults, a lot of pressure to be very, very strongly swung out. As Kali all the way up at the ready. This mid Milkman's going to come out, responded immediately with that Viper's Pit just before the suppress happened.
Wow.
Moshi, do you hear them calling?
But Vitally is down. That means no more Viper's Pit, and everybody from deep below able to just gun down the opposition. Kali got to get the plant off, and now it's just going to be a lone Leo trying to bring things back around in their favor, but so much util has been used.
Spike planted.
3 players on point, though, and look at this rotation as well. From the Sova through mid, through pizza, through cafe, through pasta, whatever flavor you want, whatever food you want. Doesn't matter, that's where they're going, and this could be a surprise to Leo, but it took so long for Leo to actually get this positioning. They are checking that corner, they are checking that angle, so they're likely aware of it. But now the rotation is going to come through from the Sova all the way through CT. I don't think Leo's going to be any the wiser for it. They are taken out by Hunter in the end.
There's just before they were getting ready to push with the flash drive as well, you saw it go up as his health bar just ticked right on down. It's a very strong take from deep below. Just charging straight on with no fear when crit offer pops that no command. I'm just gonna take the rest of the round. Roll right on over them. Vitally had a really good idea having the Viper's Pit ready to go down right away, but I don't think they were ready for quite as many people jumping right on the same corner as happened this time. No more hero 3Ks for Vitally as getting into the thick of these rounds. And deep below, props to them adjusting to be a lot slower. And as you can see, Hunter really took what we said earlier to heart. Keep a couple of people off the site to be able to staunch those retakes. And we saw him run all the way around as Callie will be making sure Franklin doesn't get an eco frag with that Sheriff mid.
That's big. Opening that up wide, right, with a pick onto the Omen means that, yeah, now Deep Blue, they can kind of take their time with this. And look at this very aggressive push on both sides from DPLO, which makes sense, right, on this eco round. I think you want to try and overwhelm with the numbers and get early picks. If you can, take the round if you can. But at the very least, make them spend some things.
Yeah. We have a shorty in the hand of Baba Yaga, and Leo randomly was able to pull out a Phantom from this. I'm not quite sure where he got the funds, but he's been rolling in the Econ game so far as he's caught Tree, going to have to try to convert a couple to at least make it worth losing the rifle in a minute here, and I don't think anyone's checking this
30 seconds left.
Will make sure they first the ball. Finally just digging their heels in, going to be dying in the
last player standing.
Bushiku with a insane reaction time on Moshi.
Spike planted.
All down to Baba Yaga to try to get something of this for the flawless.
Yeah, and this is going to put Deep Blue on match point as well. They're able to get one, but Hunter finds them with the wall bang. So now, match point here for Deep Below.
Once more.
Win here will take us to a map number 3 on Haven, which I know you are very much a fan of. You are very much looking forward to. So, looks like your prayers may be answered here, Loki.
Yeah, I might have actually stated stuff a little bit too soon. We know Diplomax, they're a clutch team. You know, they're down this much. They're ready to bring it out to you. They're here they're throwing for content. We're going to make a show out of it, right? Right?
Exactly.
Revealing areas.
That's what they're saying.
And you two going back and forth. Nice little song and dance we have here. Vitally with a little bit different of a wall this time and not taking as aggressive an approach. They're just going to wait for... They're going to let Deep Below set the tempo of this round and try to squash it right on down in a minute here. As Franklin has a really good dark cover to play. You can see him itching for an aggressive play. He catches himself just between all of the sprays. Oh my god, Deep Below now he's getting back too!
Spike
That
down
is
mid.
huge, but it's going to be answered right back in kind by Deep Below. The one-man army was eventually cut down and then some, but now both of these players are kind of caught mid. They have to get the spike, are able to pick it up. One player on each side, and I mean, look at this defensive position that's now being taken by the KJ and the Viper. This is honestly a really great situation for them, but an equally good one on the attack as well, having the KJ and the KO. The KO can shut things down pretty effectively, but they have taken a little bit of damage as they try to approach Bo now.
One enemy remaining.
Gets a kill with the nano.
Wow.
Here's the pancake. He's able to grab another. You can't script KJ Util just snaking its way into these rounds to be an amazing teammate whenever you want it.
I have so many questions.
I think that's the third kill that's happened from KJ Util this game. One of those was a turret.
Yeah, exactly. And this is great here for Diplomax, right? They're able to win a round, kind of buy up, get themselves some nicer guns. They're still going to be rolling with one Bulldog, but honestly, that's not that big of a deal. I think the Bulldog is a vastly underrated rifle in this game. So, a lot of it's going to come down, I think, to this ult.
And right now, Franklin with the first pick on the round. Just as I'm getting ready to start speaking on this ult economy, we're already up a man. But we're seeing the Hunter's Fury still in the hands of Hunter himself to be able to shut out Moshi's lockdown. Right, we see their lockdown is shut out, so they're not going to be able to have that to storm a site. as we're getting into the thick of this round. And I think that one difference is going to keep it equal as Franklin going for another aggressive pick. You
Ooh.
already got yours. Please stop taking candy from the bowl. Callie is going to smack your hand away every time as they're making their way back up into this B main, into the clutches of Moshi all over again. And we're just going, hey, Killjoy Utils here. Accept it. It's going to be our problem in a second here. The turret's gone. No more of the best teammate in this game. Alarmbot going to be stopping things as Shiku just navigating their way around all of these shots from Moshi. And we're going to see this bomb going down in a moment. Potentially answered with
30
a retake
seconds left.
using this
Spike
lockdown.
planted.
Hunter's Fury, obviously.
Actually, the Hunter's Fury early on going to take out Moshi. That is absolutely massive here for the DPLO. Just 3 players remaining in a ticking clock, rather, for them. Ridoffer finds 2. Just 1 more remaining,
Attackers
and that will
win.
be that. DPLO takes the game.
I suppose Hunter's the counter to Moshi anyway. They're getting to take out that lockdown before it's even out. Absolutely insane way to close that game. We just saw a brand new Deep Below come out for a bit there. Just the team play off the charts. And shoutouts to Franklin for that random 3K getting snaked through dark cover late into a losing half. Being able to keep your mental together to be able to make plays like that off of Leal. You love to see it.
You do. You absolutely do. And that means, speaking of love to see, right? We're gonna get a game number 3. We are headed to Haven here relatively soon. And you posed a question right after the last game. And so chicken tenders, right? Favorite chicken tender flavor? What I want to know, what's everybody's favorite pizza flavor? I'm gonna hold on to mine till after the break, after we are back. But yeah, I want to hear everybody's favorite pizza flavor in chat. But once again, before we send it to a break, any words from you, Loki?
My only words right now is if you tell me it's Hawaiian pizza, you are gaslighting me.
All right, well, strong words coming from our color caster here tonight about pizza choices. We will be back in just a few minutes with the exciting conclusion to this game. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the broadcast. We are here. We are ready to go, ready to bring us into map number 3. It is myself, Juggle God, on the mic with Demented Loki, which, by the way, the existence of Demented Loki necessitates the existence of Mented Loki. Have you run into them yet? And have you killed them? I mean, that's the most important thing.
So
There can be only one.
Me no sé, but everyone who shares the name, I believe we share a little bit of power back and forth, and there's a couple corgis in the mix, so we can't go being too brutal about it. Speaking of brutalizing, though, DPLO having a chokehold on that last game, going through that map with a smile on their faces coming into Haven. How are you feeling about it?
Well, it's honestly, I think a lot of it could be won in the agent select here. Right, because Haven, like Lotus, one of these big maps, one of the 3 spike site maps, you got so much room that you have to cover that I think it's just a paramount importance that you kind of have your ducks in a row before the map even loads in. So, yeah, I think the players are probably ready to go here. We should be loading in shortly, and we'll get an idea of what these players are thinking, what's in their heads and in their minds.
Yeah, we still got a little bit of time to speculate. We'll sit here going back and forth for a moment and see what happens. But you're still waiting on your favorite pizza flavor, if I do remember.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, what is yours?
Yeah.
What is yours? Let me get that. Let me get that from you.
Personally, my go-to order is pepperoni, sausage, onion, and banana pepper.
Ooh, that is a solid pizza right there.
Yeah.
Big fan of the spice too, so love the banana pepper. Me, I go for a hot honey pepperoni, which is it's just a classic pepperoni, right? But then you get some hot pepper infused honey, layer that on top, bake it. Have a I like it with an orange marmalade glaze underneath the crust as well. Makes it real nice.
Little bougie over here. You're telling me you came from Carney's? That's a little bit out of character coming in with such a pristine order on something.
Man, I love my pizza though. I love my pizza. We got from Prod too. Prod says we got Mr. Fantastic who's been doing a fantastic job behind the scenes. Barbecue chicken bacon ranch. I'm with you. I'm with you until the ranch. I'm just not a ranch fan, but that is also a solid pizza. Cannot criticize at all.
I can judge him for picking ranch on his pizza. Right? We'll go back and forth all day on this one. Okay, we'll fight tooth and nail in the vats of duo queue and just have a good old time. But it looks like our players are ready, so we're gonna start getting right on into this agent select. And if any of these maps are going to bring out a gecko, please be this one. Double Initiator is super common on Haven. Just there's so much distance to cover. You really need that information. And we're seeing a really quick lock from Hunter, getting the Hunter's Fury ready. And looks like we did tap it a little bit early? Question mark? Yeah. I saw 2 readies and I didn't double check the team, so that is my bad. As Callie is going to be going for the Omen, Franklin preferring this Viper, potentially going double controller with an Astra. Very interesting choices being made. Moshi back on this KJ. We know they're really good at holding space when they do get it. And vitally, in this raise, we might be seeing some of a repeat from that split game with those very aggressive blast packs into some very clean shots. Kind of excited for it.
This is going to be interesting, right? Something that stands out to me just immediately is that I think Diplomax is going to have a lot more site control, right, on their side because they got the Astra, which can have an influence, have an impact everywhere on the map. In addition, the Fade and the Viper as well, specifically the Viper, right? So much control over so much of the map. Where as we're looking on the other side, we've got a breach and a jet, which means I think there's going to be a lot of explosive potential, even with the Omen too, right? This says to me that this is a team that again is looking to kind of the second half of this game and towards their attacking side. Also, with the Raze versus the Jet, that's going to give a significant advantage as far as C side is concerned. So I'm anticipating a lot of C site hits on the attack from Deep Blue once we swap to that side. And consequently, kind of an avoidance of that here on the defense from Diplomax. But recognizing, I think, the fact that the Jet is not going to have an operator in hand to start things off, they're loading up on C site.
Yeah, I think right now we're seeing DPLO drafted a lot more of a down and dirty gunplay kind of comp. They're looking with the fault line, with the flashpoints, just trying to get some very quick snaps onto this site, having Callie potentially teleport on top of some random high ground and Bishiko try to get themselves right behind the defenders on the next half. As we're seeing Cali immediately getting swamped on C, just as you said, Vital going to be running all the way through and go, hey, it's open.
It's open, we can plant, just
Spike
another day in
planted.
the park. Except with classics. And abilities. It's going to be a trade, though, towards CT. Vantic catches Franklin in the middle. Baba Yaga going to be able to clean things up there. Diplomax with a little bit of an advantage. As Leo finds Kali. Chiku now
One
pushing out
enemy
pretty
remaining.
aggressively on the side. See if they can get a couple of quick picks. It is going to be Moshi. They will trade for one. And Chico is going to find another. So Diplomax with an
I still
early
can't
and
get over that
uncharacteristic
Alpha,
lead
It's
as
so
well.
cute.
This is only the second
Why is it
time I
so
think
cute?
they have taken the pistol round.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that they might have a bit of a fever, you know, hot-blooded as it were, being as aggressive as they are. I feel a little bit feverish after that one. Just getting that pistol round is going to be a really big econ swing as practicing their flicks through that wall, getting on crit offer, like, mush, come on, hit that util, come on, fault line. Just barking orders at a moment through the wall, asserting their dominance as they push up through sewer to hopefully snake their way into a little bit of a pick onto Franklin. But it looks like everyone's just going to be nice, passive, play it back, sing Kumbaya for a few moments, and then get that last minute scramble that Haven is just known for.
I'm going to get up with the spike. There's going to be a push through garage. Baba Yaga left loose with a prowler. They're going to find anybody. Vantic kind of biding their time in the Aster smoke. The garage is actually deciding to rotate out. And in fact, we're getting a big wholesale rotation from Diplomax in general.
Very, very slow round, but it looks like they're gonna just go for the rush B. Not rush B, rush C. Don't stop as the stars are coming out. The paint shells the backside and narrowly dodging the snake bite. Callie is just between all of the lines. Gets hit by the bomb buddy.
Oh,
and
wow.
Spike planted.
goes. Just as soon as it started, he will be ended. And Moshi in a good spot to intercept some. There goes Kashiku, one more. No, Hunter with the shutdown.
Yeah, 4 players alive here for Diplomax. Hunter has picked up a rifle along the way.
Toxin screen down.
Franklin doing what Franklin does best.
One enemy remaining.
He's able to get a couple of picks right off that flank, just like you do. Throw him a $100 bill and call him Ben, because that Franklin is money today.
He's just gonna keep hanging out on those sidelines. He doesn't need to be coming up huge often, but when he does, it's just a beautiful sight. Creeping his way all the way up through. Toxic screen just falls right in time for him to hop out of that window, secure the 2 frags of the round, and that's right after Vantic started to be Moshi started to be able to hold space mid too. As we're going into this round 3, rifles all in the hands of DPLO. This C-take might be a little bit harder as we're seeing shots go through the smoke and Vitally going down before they can even get a blast pack through all of this controller util. The sprays just happen to magnetize to them.
Could be a good thing here for DPLO. Diplomax taking it slow now that they know they're a player down. Flirting with the idea of B, right? I feel like if you're down a player, maybe not the first place you would want to go. And we see the paranoia thrown out as well from Omen. That's going to stop people for a moment.
Down.
Plant does. Yeah. It's going to be Baba Yaga, though, going a little
One
bit
enemy remaining.
too wide. Crit offer, good for 1. Make it 2 with Vantic. Now Franklin. Trying to see if they can get something going here. Finds 1. 82 health. Defuse is coming in. I don't think they're going to be able to turn quick enough. They find 3. In fact, they've stopped the defuse, but in the end, it will be Crit Offer who stops this massacre at the hands of Franklin.
Yeah, if Franklin was able to snake out another frag onto Crit Offer, I think I would have exploded. Like, we see them creeping their way into garage, caught with their knife out, and still is able to grab and just take out the Kaiju that has been Kali this entire time. Straight onto Bashiku's head, transfers over to Vantic. but gets caught with that fault line, so they have no choice but to crouch and hope that they're not going to get smacked in a moment there, where it's like, I'm sorry, I know I tried to take a mile when you gave me an inch, but I won't do it again. But here we have it. They have the Viper's Pit online, so the moment that they get that site, they can probably hold it. Viper's ult is actually really strong here when we don't have the Rolling Thunder to work with to be able to force the forces of Diplomax out of it. So things could heat up this coming round and start looking up for Diplomax as they continue to have just a slower approach now, Vitally a little bit more hesitant to pull that trigger around Garage because they know there's going to be two people there ready to swing it and don't want to get caught on these chokes. A lot of these post plants, though, we have an Astra, we have a KJ, we have a Raze. These post plans could be really good, but I don't see much commitment to them. And again, Diplomax is staying on these sites. Vitally is going to be venturing forward.
Yeah, able to go ahead and get one. The site being secured, Bashiku finds the trade. It's only going to benefit the moment. Diplomax is Vitally finds another, so only 2 players remaining here. Grid offer. Throw a little util on the point. Find someone with the aftershock is able to keep someone away, but that's going to be a nice pulse coming out from Astra. The Molly on the spike as well. Crit offer is going to be able to get one, but the pain shells in the end get the job done. 3 rounds here for
Everyone
Diplomax.
makes fun of German efficiency.
Yeah, we had a bit of a phantom moment from Hunter spraying through the wall in garage window. Just not quite able to get enough damage to secure a frag, but what do you do if you're crit offer in that situation? There's a Raze nade, a snake bite, a gravity well, and KJ util. You're just stuck. The moment that Diplomax gets these sites, especially when they get them with such little util actually committed, it's almost a sure wrap for that round. They have so much, just as you were saying earlier, this site control is always going to be insane, as Bashiku is going to be showing us a little bit more of their characteristic aggression as the Tailwind ready with the Sheriff to creep the rest of the way off if someone is going to take the bite, but everyone looks like they're going to be stopping them in a second.
Oh yeah, the dash is going to expire right when the shots start coming in. Franklin going to be quicker on the draw this time. Prowler goes out. It does find Callie, who is going to be made quick work of by Franklin once again, who's found the 2K. So far, Hunter goes down, this time to Vitally. Franklin throwing a little bit of util towards CT while they get spikes landed. Only 2 players left for them to deal with, but these are 2 heavy hitters. A Breach and a KJ. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, no, so far, has magic flicks, but it's not going to do anything when you're jumping around. And Vitally is going to be finding their own foothold back into this game after a couple rough rounds. And here's the early defense coming out. Sorry, early timeout coming out from these defenders to bring it together. Was like, hey, it's an attacker-sided map. We have a lot of ground to be able to cover and take, but we really need to sink our heels in and prevent that initial push. Or at the very least, get out all of this util in the form of that Fade, in the form of that Viper. So KJ, Astra, if their util is all that's left when the dust settles, that's doable, right? We have a little bit of annoyance, but we're used to clearing that. We have the Rolling Thunder. We have a lockdown to stall. Just keep it together, calm down. We have a Hunter's Fury for when they give Moshi an orb event inevitably. We have the ball in our court for a moment here.
I think a big person that kind of needs to pick up that ball is going to be the Breach, right? For DPLO, because they're your primary initiation tool, right? And I don't think I've necessarily seen them getting the value that I think they deserve to be getting, right, on a lot of these pushes, on some of these retakes. So putting, I think, the Breach in more of a place where they can find success, right, making sure they're able to rotate towards the site and be there for the retake, I think is going to be of paramount importance, especially considering they've got the Rolling Thunder, like you said, going into this round. It's going to be Diplomax making a push onto A site to start here. Already, we've got KJ falling back, and both KJ and Breach actually taking a very passive approach here. And again, I would like to see them kind of hold their ground a little bit more, because outside of that, Diplomax, once they get a hold of these sites, kind of those defensive abilities become that much more important.
Yeah, especially when that toxic screen goes up, they've been just tossing that right on over to them. We have 2 controllers to work with, at least make them burn more of their util to get nothing, right? We don't want to be able to have them in those moments like they've had before, where they just take the site, they have all of these smokes, they have all of these nades, and it looks like we're going to be seeing some of that double controller come out onto this B site. The Fate Haunt is in, the double blast backs are good, but again, we have this site in the hands of attackers here, and Crit Offer's able to stake a frag through that smoke, and Dance Dance Revolution is good for 1.
Wow.
Tagged.
This is big. This is exactly what DPLO needed here as they start to push out onto site. Gonna be able to find almost everybody. It's just gonna be a lone KJ. They do not last long. That is a flawless round from the defense.
Flawless.
Let's take a moment and look at the differences though here. Diplomax tosses away the toxic screen early. They toss away a lot of their util on that A, really committed to it. And yes, Breach played very passively, but he has ult to be able to force people away. That makes sense. As well as being able to continue to hold for that KJ lockdown should they have needed to use it. But having the awareness to hop up on that box, use that little corner there to get a cheeky pick on an overly aggressive, overly confident Vitally, really just sewed the round together for them, as it looks like another A take potentially coming out for Diplomax, as again, fault line going straight down the middle, slowing it down. That's a good immediate tempo changer, as the Prowlers are going to be used to just creep their way into A main a little bit, test those waters, and bomb. They haven't committed bomb anywhere. They're just looking to see if at any point DPLO is going to give them these ones that they want to take. Just throw these extra bodies at it. We have a ton of util to be able to make it so we make up for that man advantage anyway, so we're not worried about it, realistically. Having snake bites at the ready, having KJ mollies, having Sova darts, as long as someone's alive, there's a lineup for that, as we're going to see this A take happen. Toxic screen committed so we can get the poison orb on the right. The snake bite for the back site, assuming anyone wanted to stop to hold it. And here's that lockdown coming in. Getting ready to make things a little bit ugly. The Viper's Pit, though, Diplomax does not want to go anywhere, as we're going to see this round come to a beautiful climax for a moment. Both lockdowns committed as well. 3 players get caught.
Wow! 3 players. How many is the attackers going to catch? Only 1 right here. That is going to be the Viper's Pit shut down, as whereas Bashuki is able to come out onto point. Big one. Diplo comes in for another, though. That's going to be a flurry of kills.
Enemy remaining.
Showstopper as well. Leo finds another. It is just going to be Crit Offer left standing, but not for long. 3 rounds now. The difference between these 2 squads, and Diplomax on top.
This is going to sound bizarre, but I'm kind of okay with that trade on there, if I'm entirely honest with you. Okay, DPLO sits there and goes, we lost a KJ ult. Okay, cool. The other side, though, committed a KJ ult, a Showstopper, and a Viper's Pit.
Yeah.
3 very strong tools for being able to take these sites and take space on a map
I'll
like
make that
Haven.
Killjoy cry.
Need to be able to just try to keep coming out on top in this economy. Cycling these ultimates together is going to add up a lot. Cali has the From the Shadows to rotate, but they're going to be right up on that flank, no problem. As we have a bit of a garage take happening here. Vantik's util able to stall for now.
Swarm grenade out.
Things might be heating up in a couple moments, as we have the flankers going crazy in a moment on the alarm bot.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of shots coming in, a lot of util being used, but still no kills, which is kind of unusual for these 2 squads. We don't usually just see this kind of like wholesale trade of util with anything coming from it. Prowler is able to find 1. Honko's out as well. Cali gonna be caught in the gravity well, but is gonna use their ultimate to get out of dodge. Find some purchase on the high ground, but rotation is coming through on C, and there is literally nobody there. Very little util as well. There's already 3 Astra Stars out on point. One of them's going to be used to try and stun the backline there in case anyone was standing there. But like I said, they've all abandoned C completely, so this plant is free.
You want to fight
Free
it?
plant, but look at all this util use as Viper gets timing! Baba Yaga able to snake that back. Yeah, a lot of util use in these attack is giving here as the Rolling Thunder's gonna come out. Probably gonna be good for a couple of
No.
shots from Last
player
no
standing.
purchase for the attackers as it's all down to Moshi on the wrong side of the battle.
Oh, they're gonna be good for one, but that is it. But it gets the defuse, and the round goes to Deep Blue.
I mean, you asked for Breach to put on a bit of a show and come out
Yeah.
swinging. What better than this? Hop out a window, get that double spray down, popping Leo, popping Baba
Player
Yaga.
standing.
Sure, Franklin finally gets a kill with an op, but it's a Viper caught on a fault line with an op. He's not gonna last very long, especially when Callie is right there to pick him up. And dropping it all the way down to Moshi, who is partway through their rotate to be in a really good position, having to cut it short, come through garage, and peek out right into the arms of Critoffer after going on such a tear. And we still have the Nightfall to be able to try to take a round, but Bashiku has the op in hand. They're going to be able to hold down C, and we're going to have another round potentially grinding ball in a second, but Vitally is not here to let that tempo go. They wanted Snake get every little bit of pacing going up just higher and higher and higher. We see them continuously accelerating as Franklin is also going to just make sure he has his orb ready for the next take.
Yeah, it's going to be DPLO just playing it very very clustered at the moment. And again, they've opted to kind of abandon A side, but this time they've left KJ util there, and I think that's could be the big difference here. I mean, they were able to come back in and take C site away from Diplomax, who by all rights I think should have had that round. Save for just the heroic plays. Coming out from Breach, it's going to be a B side hit though. Flurry of activity. The spike goes down. Already an Astrostar on point. Shock Bolt is going to hurt a little bit, but not too terribly much. Franklin's still standing tall. And like you said before, the Nightfall is still ready to go. And that can be absolutely devastating as we see the hit coming in, the retake, the tap in. Here comes the Nightfall as well. Vantik's going in, trying for the defuse, but the Pulse going to pull them off it, stun them. Franklin takes 2 down. Just 2 remaining now. The spike beating ever so faster. Gonna go for the defuse. They fake it. The gravity wall comes out again. A little bit more that after util used to just kind of delay things. Here comes the defuse again. Leo is there though for the pick, and with a few seconds left to go, the round once again goes the way of Diplomax, who has again secured at least an even first half.
Yeah, we're seeing this again and again though. Deep Below is giving them the site that has a toxic screen on it, so that cuts out a ton of util that Deep Below is going to be seeing used for the take. And with that, we see those extra stars to be able to put on the plant, the extra star to be able to smoke just one side of the site, so we can get a poison orb up there a little bit later to continue a slow burn. We still have the paint shells that was dedicated for the actual push itself, admittedly. There's so much util that has to be left to the dragon. Allie, good for one! In the dark cover as this take is looking into the side of Diplomax.
And Diplomax able to come out of it though with a 1-player advantage. Spike will go down again, and the C side, they're gonna try their luck here. Hopefully for them, Breach doesn't have any tricks up their sleeves this time, but they already are positioned over on Garage. Prowler goes out to try and clear Garage too and does not spot them, but this map control, honestly, that Diplomax has here is fantastic. Especially the KJ kind of like lurking near those doors of Garage in case Breach decides to peek through there, but instead it looks like the push is going to come through the back. That's going to be a nice pull. Nebula to take it down one. Just the Breach remaining. Critoffer cannot get it done, and now Diplomax has secured a lead in the first half.
Yeah, we're just seeing it. Ironically, on Deep Below save round, I think that was the most util Diplomax has actually dedicated to a site take this entire half. But that's just to be expected with C-Site. You have so many important angles that you have to be able to clear on that initial take that, of course, we're not going to have the smokes to dedicate a little bit later. But they still have their mollies. They still have the gravity well, as we saw, just get a little thump for Vitally to keep their space on CT. And it's just a lot to have to claw through when, even if you have man advantage by 1, that doesn't mean much when Diplomax is knocking on the door, taking the site. Allie with the spray down, hitting basically no one.
Wow. Yeah, and they take a little damage as well from those paint shells, so Vitally able to finish them off
Spike planted.
with little trouble. And once again, Diplomax has secured C site. This is definitely showing up and becoming their more favored approach. We are going to get the Viper pick committed as well, which might have been an overinvestment considering Moshi had things handled and it was a flawless round up until that point and through the end.
Speaking of KJ's on the flanks, though, taking a page right on out of Franklin's book there and trying to appeal to the masses for a moment, just snaking their way right around up mid, nice and quiet, getting that timing. And Viper's Pit overinvested, but you know, it's all for the fun. We still have a showstopper for a site take. We still have a lockdown for preventing a retake. And Hunter is going to need to dedicate their ultimate if they want to be able to stop that. But it looks like we're going to see an A take potentially, as all of Diplomax is sitting around this side, oddly enough. And never mind, they're going to find their way on over to another castle, see what else there is for them to pillage as they make space through this. Cowley in a fairly aggressive off angle to try to intercept and not seeing anything.
Satchel out.
That timing is insane as we have a showstopper coming on out and not another Rosa ultimate.
It is going to be a trade. Vitally down very low. That Hunter's Fury should finish them off, and it does just that. Now down to 3 players is Diplomax. This is one of the first leads, honestly, that DPLO has had going into the retake here, but it's going to be neutralized by Baba Yaga, who does find one in the spike down on B site, which has been used a lot, honestly, by Diplomax. They have found a lot of success on this very, very difficult site. Kelly will be able to cut down one though.
Remaining.
Yeah, and we have this lockdown. It's going to commit before that bomb is finished. It doesn't matter. The spray out's going to be good. And here we have it for a few seconds. It might be a little bit rough, but the bomb's already happened. I think it's okay.
No, they're detained.
Hold on. They're detained.
No. They can't do anything about it.
There's the 9-3. Oh my God.
Wow. Wow. What a lockdown to close out that half. Couldn't have scripted that better.
And we see this. We knew the defuse was going to be very close, and we knew the lockdown was going to stop it because they started it when there was about 7.5 seconds on that lockdown. But to have it close out the round that way is absolutely heartbreaking. But we have a fairly aggressive setup from DPLO to be able to bring out the fault line. Get Bashiku just dashing straight onto the site. Reckless abandon. It's okay. Your skull is made of stainless steel. It'll bounce right off of you the way that it's rounded on over. We have no qualms tossing you away as long as we can keep Vantic alive for that post play.
A couple stars used to slow things down just a little bit. Everybody gonna back off though from long now.
Slow and steady wins the race, as we always say on Haven. Those first few seconds can be either really fun or, as we're seeing, a bit of a snail's pace. Just trying to figure out how you're going to hold this. And it looks like we're seeing very early rotates right off. Baba Yaga saying, hey, I don't want to touch it. Someone else, you know, you got this. I have my haunt coming up soon. I want to keep that ready for a retake. And we're also seeing a lot of stars were, again, really early committed, but they pulled them right on back, still have their gravity well, still have their Nova Pulse. There's no qualms there, as it looks like DPLO really doesn't know what they want right now.
They have decided. It took them a minute. You're right. They really they were kind of poking and prodding, seeing what util they could get out. I think, and who was on what site. And they have decided that A is looking like the best hit. Vitally. Gonna throw out some page shells. Eventually. And we'll get sprayed through the smoke, take a little bit of damage. Callie actually going down very low as well. Neil now at an off angle. And this is that very, very dicey round for Diplomax, right? I mean, they historically have not been the best on the pistol round. No kills coming in. Callie does find Vitally. And yeah, that's going to be almost everybody gunned down. This is the Deep Blue that we recognize now, right? Able to take these pistol rounds out of the hands of Diplomax, I think, is absolutely huge because it almost guarantees them another round.
Yeah, and all down to Moshi, but they were having a little bit too much fun with their shift key on that round. Being so late to the party, it's not much you can do there other than hope you get one. And yeah, no, we're back to seeing the Deep Blue we remember. Very dominant pistol rounds, being able to keep that gritty, just one-on-one and just keep throwing people at it until it shakes out in our favor.
Turn out.
But I want to talk about that haunt for a second. That was, I believe, a 4-man haunt coming out for Baba Yaga. That must have felt so good. But then it's just gut-wrenching as that knife sinks its way in and Deep Blue's able to take that round. And I think Moshi is out for my heart having a shorty in such an aggressive angle right now. Wait.
Wow, okay, that's going to be a trade. Diplomax playing very aggressively at the moment. Will be cut down, though. 2-player advantage now here for DPLO. If they, Diplomax can get one more, I think they'll feel good about this. That will not be the case as Bashiku takes 4.
I call you Charlie because it means you're my friend.
Paranoia and Flashpoint. My eyeballs hurt for them after that one, honestly. Such a brutal way to close out the round. And again, we're seeing Deep Blue. Deep Blue was able to keep so many guns out of that they're just like, okay, cool, we'll put a little bit of money into this round. It's fine. And as we see, Bashiku dropped their Spectre and bought that Phantom just now off of that round, actually. And Vantic has that Frenzy. They're going to go for coming back swinging round 3, as it looks like it's going to be forcing more of a buddy system approach from our buddies over there on defense. And Franklin, just no fear, walking all the way up, making himself just right at home, unbeknownst to the attackers, as we have this owl drone coming out. We're going to be spotting them in a moment here. And here we have a shooter ready to greet you right at the door through the Nova Pulse. Doesn't care. Not going to contest me in time. That's one for the books, as we're going to see everyone's clumped up on A, but I think this is going to be a rotate.
Yeah, it's unclear at the moment. It could be, maybe not, but Diplomax doing a good job, I think, of kind of holding their ground and making sure that they don't give up too much space or too much map control. We're going to see Fade kind of rotating around through CT, as now there's going to be a push up through sewers. So, vitally here, pick here is going to be of paramount importance for them. They don't swing quick enough. This is Deep Below coming back in a huge way,
30
finding
seconds left.
potentially another round here as they have a 2-player advantage, and the plant goes down without any kind of resistance on A.
Yeah, Vitally has been a huge player all of last half, so being able to shut them out and Franklin in the same round, just because both of them got way too confident, that's huge. As well as having a 2-man advantage on here, with Breach Util coming back up in a second here. This might just be a round handed straight into Deep Blow's mouth. It's hard to toss these ones away, as it looks like we're going to be seeing a 3-man save.
Yeah, I think we're actually getting a 3-man save here, which I like. I like in this context, right? Because they recognize they're down. Actually, Moshi is able to find one. The question is, are they going to be able to get away from the spike when it goes off? Wow, yeah, actually looks like they did. So, honestly, I really like that round from Diplomax, right? Recognizing that they're not going to win it and just kind of, yeah, saving 3 rifles, that's huge. I imagine they're going to be able to buy up to full, or at least close to it here to match what's going to be coming out from Deep Below.
That save actually still keeps the economy in a really rough place. Your strong fraggers in Vitally, Franklin, both very aggressive, getting punished really hard for this. They only have 2,900 credits. So we're going to see Franklin unable to buy a rifle because we want that util. We want that stalling util. Yeah. Vitally probably not going to be able to buy a rifle because, well, we kind of want them to have shields. They need a little bit of a helmet the way they're swinging in. But they could, now hear me out, pick up a Bucky.
Yeah, that's true. Or Judge, you know, there's a lot of good options out there, I think, for them. I like this timeout as well. I think that, you know, nipping this in the bud right before it becomes a bigger problem is the right idea here. Especially considering they're also going to be looking down a Blade Storm from a Jet, too. So there's kind of a lot stacked against them at this point. So This, I think, has the potential to be a pretty impactful, a pretty big round that we could feel the repercussions from echoing into the later rounds.
Yeah. I mean, we saw what Vitally was able to do with a judge. They're opting for a sheriff this round, which I do believe is the safe play. And that toxic screen perfectly obstructs the turret as it's placed. That is wild. We see it poking its little barrel on through, but Diplomax all the way up. Callie, none the wiser, gets her head taken off by Italy. Shots back and forth. Pantic's able to claw one back, but it's looking rough.
That is looking pretty rough indeed. Diplomax down to just 3. Vitally holding a strong angle. They can hear Bashiku. They have moved away. Everybody actually making their way over towards A site now. I think recognizing that just about everybody from Diplomax is pushed up very, very far. They're still taking their time. They're making sure to kind of clear their angles, do everything that they need to do, though, as they move in. But they are taking a bit of time. This is actually going to allow Diplomax to catch up to them.
Yeah, Vantic is being a sneaky little snake with the KJ utility getting ready to come online as well, though. And this could be huge. This entire go-around. There's one. They weren't able to keep themselves facing the Hunter. Incredible.
Wow.
To save that round.
Big rounds here for DPLO. They have come out swinging on the attack. And I mean, we talked about, right, kind of the differences between these two squads and how their compositions would play in each half of this matchup. And right now, kind of this more attacker-oriented composition coming in from DPLO, I think, is doing what it needs to do.
Yeah, we also see Hunter and Kridoff are kind of being the power couple, spearheading these charges, staying right onto each other, and Vitally has an op? Interesting decision being made, having the glass cannon perched on top of the cinder blocks here, though. It could come out huge. The Aldra will be spotting them off their high horse.
My ult's ready.
Way too confident there. Oh.
Yeah, nice shot from Vitali. They're actually going to throw the sniper rifle over to Franklin, too. So I like this, right? They're keeping DPLO on their toes here. In the meantime, a lot of stars getting committed over towards B and C because I think they recognize the rotation was coming out. Nobody wants to deal with that operator. So they are going to go through garage here, which I think is going to be the right approach to C. Question is, can they make it happen? Vantic is going to try to get through C2, I believe, through B. No, they are just going to back off for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, DPLO has a lot of uses that Mr. Prowler will spot out Hunter, but again, paranoia coming right on through, and the boys come marching
Spike
in.
down.
Bobby able to get one and keep motion from being so Hunter will be next to fall.
Last player
Take
standing.
things back, will be bringing himself into a 1v3 situation.
Bomb buddy out.
Oh, that's going to be the bomb buddy letting him know where they are. And Leo finds the wall bang. 10 rounds for Diplomax. Only 3 separate them between now and victory here on Haven.
Yeah, you know Callie was feeling himself for a moment, getting those frags right after the rest of the team fell. He was like, okay, I got this. I have an op to peek, and then, oh, that's the rest of the team. Right at the end there, as that dark cover fell. And it looks like we might see paint shells and C's used right at the start of a round. Very, very high risk play here coming out, but I like it. You can have a huge payoff if these just land true, but alas, alack, they're actually off on the other side, committing a little bit of util for an aid take instead. And that paint shell's not being up actually can be the decider on some of these retakes with the way that this map has been playing out so far. We know Moshi has their setup on A, but we also see a lot of util at the ready to be able to burn through this round. As the Owl Drone spots out, cool, turret on that side. No one else is on this site, then so let's get it going. Take the site, Moshi sat back, hanging out and having going, okay guys, please, we got this.
That was a nice bit of KJ util as well, right? Having the nanoswarm there to slow things down alerts the rest of the team that, hey, the hit is coming out onto A, so it will be a fairly quick rotation. But this is pretty good map control as well, coming out from Deep Below. They already have one pick onto Vitally, but the Gravity Well will catch the breach, although I don't think anybody's actually going to be able to follow up on it as Bashiku pushed back a little bit because of this snake bite. Nobody's still able to push out onto site, and 2 players down here. That is going to be another save coming out from Diplomax.
Yeah, 2 huge picks from Hunter on that round as well. Being able to take out Vitally when they were starting to push up, being able to grab Moshi from Heaven. Just 2 really strong players to keep an eye on, be able to
Standing ahead.
hopefully put in the ground. Worked out this time. But not having to commit the Rolling Thunder, that's huge. Still having up for this coming take. And you saw it was in their hand. They were really thinking about pulling that trigger the moment that they heard a little bit of noise connector. But they were told, take a breath. We got this. Just relax. Everyone else is going to be coming online in just a moment. And Critoffer is able to save it for another round. And that other round could be a very explosive take, as yet again, Franklin's left on their own. And
Get out of my way!
with a KJ not too far behind, the Blade Storm comes out, but no double updrafting shenanigans here, as Franklin's able to hang out with his operator.
Redeploy the smoke as well.
I need to stop. Concealment.
Going up to put a little bit of defense up as Shiku pushing out very aggressively has been caught by the Haunt and the pull as well. So briefly detained. But that's a lot of util actually expended by the defense here.
Out of charges.
DPLO is going to have a much easier time now pushing onto point. And actually got somebody who's already pushed well up a long too. So lots of options here for DPLO.
Yeah, not having the Owl drone for this take, though, could be a really big difference. Sure, we can just look at Bashiku, give him a safety helmet, smack him on the rump and say, you got this, buddy. But the Owl drone makes for a very safe intel gather. As we toss away another Haunt, your hand is bleeding. We see all the cards at the ready for Diplomax, except for Franklin. Franklin is looking
30
like
seconds
he's
left.
going to be the Joker of this deck. Having this op in hand, we could call it the magic stick. If they can get just one here, we're going to be very happy. But dark cover in the fault line, not much he can do, as he's just going to be obscured. And Bashiku getting motion?
What? That was absolutely
10
huge. We're going to get
seconds
the
left.
spike plant, though. The last moments of decay does briefly bring Bashiku down low. Prowler will identify them. At least that there's somebody holding in that corner. Nice shot from Callie as well to take out Franklin in the high ground, who is still waiting with that
Last player
operator.
standing.
Here comes the showstopper. It's only going to be able to find one. Now it's going to be up to Leo. The 1v4. They will shut down the Blade Storm. And moving into heaven to see if they can get something else done here.
This was a
It's going to be
very
a 3.
expensive
Covering it.
Yeah. Oh, they're just going to rescue the op and save here. But everybody is aware of it. They're going to try and run out to find them, and they catch them in the back. And that is an operator now for the side of Deep Below.
No, they don't want it. They don't want the cursed operator. It's been in Franklin's hands. We've seen what's happened with those ops. They go back and forth, and no one gets anything done so far. Let's talk about that for a minute. The showstopper dodged the Rolling Thunder. We will give them that, and I think they did get a pick with it.
They did,
but
one.
The rest of the team just fell apart, and that's what's been a common theme on, I think, every round that the spike's gone down. The defenders go for these retakes. They go, yes, this is it. We got this. We got this. Oh my God, Bashiku with the off angle.
Yeah, and with Diplomax pushing up so aggressively, they're going to pay for it in a pretty big way. Blind is actually going to hit one of their own teammates. A couple of stars go out. Moshi backs away, but finally falling as well means that, again, things are looking in a real good way here for Deep Below. Callie now going to lead the charge here through mid. As, yeah, both of the team members for Diplomax just kind of pick opposite sides of the map and wait to see what happens next.
Yeah. And they don't have a lot of util to play either. They're
One
gonna play
enemy
for next
remaining.
round rifles. They have a lot of good ults
Spike
to be able to
planted.
take, but this round, it's already looking like it's going to be in the way of Deep Below, unless Moshi pulls another rabbit out of the hat and is able to get 3 with a Sheriff. But it does not look like something they're going to want to commit to, as they just skulk their way around, potentially right in the arms of Bashiku, but these timings have been unreal so far today.
Yeah, let's see what these two can get done here. They peek the corner. Bashiku quicker on the trigger. That is a tied game now. Heading into round number 21.
Yeah, I think DPLO has the formula at this point, seeing this very aggressive defense regularly coming into their spawn time and time again and just not respecting the space. Blowing a ton of utility, not having patience on these haunts to just hold on to them for the retake, so they're not up for it. They're dedicating multiple stars for basically nothing. Like, you get a pick on Bashiku, that's fine. That's not our win condition on a round a lot of the time anyway. That's just another form of us spotting. You get a pick onto Kali or Crit Offer. I think those are much more important picks right now. Getting rid of the smokes from the Omen, making it so they can't really skulk around and be hidden as much. Getting rid of Crit Offer so we don't have the fault lines. Or in this case, we do want to get rid of Vantic. That lockdown is huge as we're gonna spot out the best teammate you can get. That turret. And that's a lockdown coming out as Machine rushes this site.
Yeah, Soko's gonna be a miss as well. We do have the lockdown coming on the line. In the meantime, Diplomax finds one, but it's going to be DPLO who finds two instead. Now the spike planted. Going to be able to back up here. Vitally finds one, so it's now 3v3 on this retake, but the retakes have absolutely favored the attacking team so far. And the Nightmare is going to be a whiff. That's going to be a complete whiff because everybody is just holding C long at this point. There's so much KJ util on point. The Viper is well going to be able to throw a lot of the snake bites onto point. This could be a very difficult retake. They're finally going to go for one. Finds Vantic. Gets another. It's just going to be the brief remaining. They're going for the defuse. They find him through the spike. Crit Offer clutches the round.
What is with DPLO and just swiping people away through these smokes? Such a good set of play for this post plant, though. Let's talk about the pick from Vitally. Getting the Sova, no Hunter's Fury for you. Going straight into their face, grabbing Vantic, no problem. Switches over to Kali, sweet. But their biggest mistake, leaving Crit Offer on the table. He's been able to come up huge time and time again this game. In hindsight's 2020, but I think the Hospital Flick would have suited them better. We have the Hunter's Fury to be able to secure a round, as well as we have Kali for some mind games potentially into a Viper's Pit or Cosmic Defy.
Right here.
Lockdowns for retakes. There's a lot of util in the attacker's hands, but I'm worried it won't get used as Franklin with another aggressive push on Toxic Screen punished.
Yeah, this is... I think this has been the Achilles heel, honestly, of Diplomax, right? They've been pushing so aggressively, and they just have not been getting value from it. Time and time again, right? I think the point you made about how much util they expend is very, very salient here. It's going to be Mochi now, holding this corner, but they're going to be spotted out by the Aldrone, taking a lot of damage. Kali finished them off with wall break. Now that they took off that armor, Leo going to be able to get one, but that is it. So now two-player advantage once again here, and DPLO, they're cruising to round number 12.
Yeah. Oh, another Rosa ult from Vitally, almost able to get Hunter, but he's gonna tuck back and have his ult up for this post plant. And they call the bluff. They know it's a fake.
Last player standing.
Allie with the backstab.
Wow.
Bring us into another round. Such strong positioning for these post plants. And we have a couple really strong ultimates coming online soon for the attackers again.
Yeah, and I mean, crucially held onto the Hunter's Fury, right? I think it is of paramount importance that Hunter stays alive this round. Their win condition, honestly, a lot of it could rely on this Hunter's Fury. It is their get out of jail free card, but they also might need to use it to take out this lockdown if the defense gets it out.
Betrayed them.
No, I think the Sova pick definitely has been able to show a lot of its use in these rounds, since KJ is such a standard Sentinel slot for these maps. But we're seeing a very aggressive push this time, having the patience to just pop the Viper spin. Just secure that this is my spot on the map. You're not taking it, and digging their heels into something without throwing their lives away and not throwing too much util. This is something we need to see more of. If they want to play these aggressive spots, just hold on to some of your util. Make it so you have something for these retakes. But that might be for naught, as both Prowlers are gone now. And we have people coming up into garage with a dark cover. There goes the haunt. You're not going to have that in the coming take in a moment here. That's about 35 seconds going to be left on that cooldown. Astra's hanging back, going to have some stars to play. Got the Cosmic Divide. That's well and good. Bashiku running out recklessly, gets spotted by an alarm pot, but no one's on this site to punish it.
No, everybody is gone. And again, this is match point here for DPLO, and they're going to be able to get the spike plan off. Hunter holding, starting to back off now down C long, actually staying on point instead with that Hunter's Fury. No, here we go. Here comes the backup. Now we've got the lockdown coming out. So, yep, the Hunter's Fury comes out, trying to destroy it. But instead, it's going to be 3 picks in favor here. The lockdown has been destroyed. Baba Yaga comes in, but that will be that in the end. DPLO comes back. The 9-3 curse is real here tonight. And they take the series 2-1.
Man, that was a real nail biter for a bit there, but let's talk about the differences that came out. We see DPLO just always on this very aggressive play for defense side, because historically, Franklin, Vitally, they were able to get those picks. But on a map like Haven, when you're really needing to sink your teeth in to be able to rip apart the other side, those early aggression plays were just shut out by the fact that attack has to play passively. Like on a Haven, you play so slow, you hang so far back, and it's just a game of information.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I think game of information, right? That also speaks to a big difference. Having the Sova instead of the Fade, I think, was a really good call coming out there. So, initially, I thought the composition that Diplomax had was going to be a little bit stronger, right? But in the end, it turned out, honestly, I think the Sova pick was a little bit bigger of a difference maker than I necessarily thought. And Hunter surely showed up in some big ways there tonight. But Loki, that is going to do it for us here tonight. What a series, right? To bring us back here, I think, in Victorious Valorant. So very excited about what we've seen here today. Big thank you as well to Mr. Fantastic, our producer, running the show behind us. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you, everybody else, for watching tonight. Before we send it and say our final goodbyes, any final words from you, Loki?
Honestly, these were some really good games. I hope the teams looking back on this just fill themselves with excitement to be able to move forward in the rest of their endeavors with this split. And maybe we'll be able to see a rematch in the future and have Diplomax root their heels in the ground, be able to tuck that Achilles away a little bit, you know, get a little piece of armor over that, maybe some flex tape. It holds everything together. So only time will tell.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. That'll do it for us here tonight. GG's and see you next time.
Ciao, ciao.